Podtacular episode 300, 7th year anniversary, recorded live on July 28th, 2012. Welcome to our 300th anniversary show for our 7th year anniversary. My name is Duststorm, and this is a huge occasion for us as we celebrate 7 years, 300 episodes, and we have the original host of the show, the founder of Podtacular himself, Mr. Mike Funk or foomojive. Hello, and welcome back.
Hey, thanks, man.
You are a pioneer of podcasters, and we are very pleased to have you on the show today.
Well, you're a mighty hard-working Halo guy over here and doing a great job at carrying on Podtacular over the years. God, it's been, 3-4 years that you've been doing Podtacular since...
I've been doing it for 4 years now, since August or September of 2008.
Yeah, I think that's longer than I did.
So far, yeah. Unless you decide to somehow come and take it back.
Yeah, right.
Which would be, yeah. Anyways. But it's good to have you back. I know the last time you were on was... were you on the Decade series that we did?
Decade series? I don't think so. That's not familiar.
So the last time you probably were... The last time you were probably on then was for our 4th year anniversary.
I think so.
Which was 3 years ago. And that was episode 200, right? Yeah, I think so. So I had a little bit more flamboyant intro for that one than I did this one, but
yeah. What's the latest music from? Is that from a?
That's from the Halo 4 soundtrack.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So that's one of the pieces that they've put out in some of the videos, and they released a MP3 of it.
Oh, nice.
So that's been our intro song for a while.
Very cool.
So yes, much has changed since you have left our doors here at Podtacular.
Yeah, I guess so. I want to hear about all the latest Halo stuff and get up to speed here.
I know. Halo 4 is just around the corner, too.
Yeah, no, this year, right?
In about 3 months.
Yeah, November 6th. I mean, everyone keeps thinking, oh, that's so far away. That's years away. That's tomorrow. That's like right around the corner.
it's pretty much here. So I think everyone is excited for it. I know I am.
I'm really looking forward to that whole episodic thing where it's the ongoing campaign that you can play in co-op that has a new episode every week. That just sounds really cool.
Oh, yeah, Spartan Ops, yeah. Free stuff every week, woo.
Sweet.
Well, I think that's part of the... I don't know if you heard about this, Fumo or Brent. I'm not sure how up-to-date you are with the Halo 4 news, but with the 8 gig install, I have a feeling that's going to be what Spartan Ops is, having an extra 8 gigabytes that you have to download. Because that much content doesn't fit on one disk, and I have a feeling they're not sending 2.
Huh. So it requires an 8 gigabyte install?
It does.
Oh my goodness.
Which for people that have hard drives, which is almost everybody nowadays, it's not that bad.
I guess not, yeah, I can probably push some stuff. But...
Yeah, they need to get with the times if they don't.
Yeah, so next on the list is Brent Gamer, who was a recently moved on co-host.
Hey, everybody.
So, welcome back.
It's good to be back.
He's kind of the golden voice of Podtacular.
Nah, I wasn't really the golden voice. I
yeah,
thought of
you
myself as more the comic relief guy, you know.
You don't give yourself enough credit. People still ask to have you back.
I don't know why. Like, I just derailed the show. Really. We'll be talking about Pokemon in 15 minutes.
That's part of Podtacular.
Yeah.
That's one of the essence of our podcast is having those little derailments, and I think that's why some people are drawn to it. Others, maybe not so much. But
yeah, some people like the wild tangents. Other people hate it,
Right.
I guess it's a Halo podcast, so.
Yeah. I mean, we stay on topic most of the time, but anything that's related off topic, we generally go the wayside and do some other things with it.
Yeah, I mean, I play a similar role. I've kind of taken over Brent Gamer's spot, but I just replaced the Pokemon with politics.
Yeah. Although people have more problem with politics than Pokemon. So it's kind of a downside, unfortunately.
They've got a new Pokemon game out where it's like a mix of Dynasty Warriors, which is like feudal Japanese history meets beat 'em up, and Pokemon. So essentially they've like rewritten history to where Pokemon helped people overtake Japan in the feudal era.
Oh, nice.
Kind of weird. They're actually fighting in wars and things.
That's interesting.
It's creepy.
So there's actual some substance behind the story of it?
I guess. I don't know.
It's like now you have to go save this diplomat in the world of Pokemon. That'd be...
Yeah, I'm thinking it would be a perfect mix with current U.S. politics. Pokemon? That'd be great.
343 Studios presents Bungie Pokemon Warriors 4. Coming this year.
The return of Mitt Romney.
Oh boy.
Romney too.
So
it's personal.
So we were supposed to have a bunch of other people on, which unfortunately with how their schedules are, no one else could have made it. We tried to invite ChuckieJ. For those of you guys who know him, he was one of the community managers back in the day. JVB is actually out of town. He doesn't get in until like 2 a.m. this morning or tomorrow morning, so he's not going to be able to make it. I haven't heard from Captain Kronk, so I'm not sure what's going on with him. Dialpex or Diego, he is actually hosting a LAN party right now, and he said he might try to pop in if he has a few minutes to spare. And then who else? There's a couple other people who I'm blanking on right now, but they weren't able to make it, so we're just gonna have to hold down the fort for you guys for an hour or two. And what we're kind of gonna do is go through a little bit of the history, catch up on with what you guys have been doing for the past. Oh, for Fumo, it's the past 3 years for you, and then for Brent, it's probably like the last 6 months. I forget when the last podcast that you were on, but it wasn't as long ago as Mike's was over here. So let's first start off with Fumo. So tell us about the first time that you were recording Podtacular. Take us back 7 years ago to this day on what your ideas were and how you came up with this crazy thing called Podtacular.
I can remember anything here. Yeah, it's a long time ago. I was at the time I had a long commute. I had about an hour-long commute. So, and podcasts were just kind of really just kind of starting out. So there was somewhere around 10,000 podcasts, I think, on iTunes. I mean, now there's well into the hundreds of thousands, maybe even more. Who knows? But I was listening to a few podcasts, and I really enjoyed them. And I kind of I was really getting into Halo 2 at the time, and some of the team strategies and big team battle and things like that. And I just from listening to all the podcasts I listened to, I kind of figured that I was a web designer at the time. I kind of know my way around computers and stuff, so I could probably put together a podcast. And I kind of wanted to give back to the podcasting community and to the Halo community, really. I looked around a bit, and there weren't a whole lot of successful Halo podcasts, so I figured I'd start my own. So I did, and the first episode I just kind of wrote out an outline and just kind of talked into the mic for a while, and just posted on various sites and stuff like that. Turns out I got a lot of support. A lot of sites were happy to kind of repost and say, hey, there's this new Halo podcast available. And, people started going to the blog as well. It was on blogger.com at the time. And
the original Podtacular people.
Yeah, blogspot.com. And,
I think the Wayback When machine has it.
Does it?
Yeah. So if people want to see how Podtacular was back in the day, go to the Wayback When machine. You can see what it was like.
Yeah, so that was definitely old school there. But, it worked out, and it definitely served its purpose for the time. And from there, I had kind of a call for a co-host, and people were really catching on to the whole site and everything. And then Spelchek came along, and he was, I think, 16 at the time. And so he joined in as a co-host, and it was pretty cool because he would always make crazy jokes and stuff, and I would get on his case and everything. And it turned out to be a pretty good combination. And we ended up shortly after that. It was getting really, really popular. Our listener count went way up, and we had Major Nelson on the show. We had
Crazy Larry.
Yeah, Crazy Larry.
Yeah. We're trying to get him to come back on, but
nah, he hates us.
He's been busy. He always has a busy schedule.
Busy. Well, we had that was really cool. We got to chat with him a bit, and from there we were on. It kept going. We got on Bungie.net. Eventually we got into the top 20 podcasts on iTunes. But after a while, I think the focus really changed. The podcast kind of started taking a back seat to more of a community, and what we really wanted to do was just have a cool place where people can make friends and play Halo, and that was it. And we got to where, with the help of a whole lot of people that ended up kind of joining as a staff, including Duststorm and Brent and a bunch of other people like you talked about, Cam Crunk and later JVB, which I'll get to in a sec. But we got to where we had this cool system going of clans to where we had basically any type of Halo player could fit in these different kinds of clans. We had these competitive clans, we had recreational clans, we call them rec clans, and then we had a whole system. Eventually, we developed where our individual clans would compete against each other, and then the very best would be on our pro team, which would go against other groups other Halo clans and stuff like that. So it was kind of neat. So like I was saying, JVB came along, and that really changed a whole lot. You might want to tell that story? You guys been around.
Actually, I started listening to the show just as JVB got on the show.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. So.
Okay, well, when he came on, it was.
Brent was probably around.
Were you around?
Yes, I was around.
Do you remember his first voicemail there that he sent in?
I don't remember the first, but I do remember the voicemails. He was kind of my favorite part of the show. I'd always wait to hear JVB's awesome voice, which you can now hear on over 1,000 podcasts around the world today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a couple of video games. He was in a soundtrack for at least one, and he's going to be a soundtrack for another. Bad Dudes 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What other game was he in?
Yeah, there are 2 bad dudes.
Definitely.
I know he's in I saw his tweet about being in the Bad Dudes, but what other game was he in?
It was an iPhone game that was done by Prometheus. Prometheus, is that what it's called? Prometheus Marketing.
Okay. Yeah, that does sound vaguely familiar now.
Yeah, I think it was the Twitter zombie attack or something like that. I can't remember, but it was it was some kind of Plants vs Zombies type game, but integrating with your Twitter followers.
I mean, he's really integrated into gaming now. He has 3 different podcasts, and he's now with the ECA.
Mm-hmm.
He's the community manager over there, so he's kind of well enveloped in the gaming industry.
Yeah, he sure is.
So we've had a term coined for him amongst a few of us. He's as the Podfather, with how many podcasts that he's started or he's done.
Mm-hmm.
So he's definitely an inspiration to a lot of people.
Gaming industry? I mean, is he making games?
He's not making games, but he's part of.
You mean gaming media?
Yeah.
Gaming media. Yeah, I mean that's part of the gaming industry.
I just think there's a fine line between like gaming industry, like developers, and then like journalists and like blogging and.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, there is a difference.
Well, kind of.
It still falls under the same envelope of gaming in general.
I mean, there's industry and then there's media.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I'm not downplaying it. I don't know, just clarifying.
Anyway, so he came around and I think that really changed a lot because it was a different dynamic from Spelchek and I and he commands a lot of attention. Definitely, he's an awesome guy, and from there we had all kinds of different team leaders for the different groups and everything, and it just really started spiraling big time. And at one point, we were in the top 20 of all podcasts on iTunes. So
yeah, and there's still that award that we pride the most is the best gaming podcast of 2006.
That's right, on podcastawards.com. Yeah.
So you got to be pretty proud about that one.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Yeah, I was definitely proud. Yeah. But it was a team effort. It always was, and except for the very first episode. But ever since then, it was people working together to just like create a really cool community for a bunch of people to hang out and make friends and play Halo. And that was the goal. I think we did a pretty darn good job of it. So.
Oh, we're still here. So
I'm not saying it's over. So
that's a testament to what you started. So
7 years later.
Right on.
We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you starting this freaking podcast. And I'm dragging.
It couldn't have been picked up by better people. I mean, Dustin, you're a bigger Halo fan than I ever was, and I've always said that. So that's definitely a good thing because after a while, my whole interest in Halo waned, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But
I thought you were about to comment on my height.
Yeah, that too. He's also extremely tall.
Yeah.
And he's like, he's kind of intimidating to walk anywhere with. It's like,
yeah.
But yeah, man. I know if I ever run into any trouble in a dark alley, we got it covered here. So.
That is, if I'm ever in Orlando.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, Fumo and I, for those who don't know, met for the first time back in February, and I stayed at his place for a night, and we played some CEA, right?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
And I just dropped Brink in the mail for you, so you should be getting that soon.
Why would you want to play Brink? Ugh.
I know, everybody's hating on Brink, man.
I haven't played it, but apparently it was horrible. It got like horrible reviews.
Oh, why would you play it? Hating on it just because other people hate it?
It was overly hyped. It was overly hyped. Like the gameplay, like the game mechanics in it are really good. It's just it got very overhyped by the media, and that's why I got such bad reviews.
I don't know. You go look at all the 5s and 6s and maybe a few 7s that it got as far as reviews. Reviews don't lie.
The reviews, but I don't put much stock in reviews necessarily. Because like there's people on like Reddit and stuff that say it's actually a pretty good game. It just some parts kind of fell flat, and they still have some like interface problems. Like for instance, to change out your loadout, you have to go like way back to the very beginning menu screen. I understand.
The loadouts are very detailed.
Yeah. Well, so there's little things that are probably not ideal, but it's the whole concept of having like a lot more objectives than just like the basic, CTF and the bomb and things like that. Having a variety of objectives in the same match, and then having the loadouts, but also having the whole parkour element and stuff like that just sounds really interesting. I'm gonna check it out. So
yeah.
So there.
The concept of the game was really cool.
A TF2 ripoff?
No. It wasn't a TF2 ripoff at all.
Not even close.
No,
I don't know. That's what I've heard. I'm like, I've heard people just like, don't even buy that. Just go play TF2 at that point.
No, it's not. No, those are two separate, completely different games. Brink and TF2. So.
But yeah, it's like, from what I understand, it's very multiplayer focused, but it's the story really takes second fiddle. I understand the story is just not particularly great or anything, but it's more the multiplayer gameplay where you have different objectives based on your different classes of characters. So, like an engineer might need to take out a strategic, communication system or something like that.
Right.
So you have multiple different objectives that you can accomplish depending on your class, even. So I don't know. It's that in itself seemed like a good idea. And then there's the whole parkour element where you have like smooth movement over was it Brink where they did the smart?
Yeah, it was smart. Smooth movement
across random terrain.
Yes.
So.
And most of the times it works pretty smooth.
Able to just kind of fly over and kind of jump down and jump up to things and stuff like that just by pressing the direction you're wanting to go.
Yeah.
But others had like a lesser element of the parkour. So.
Right. For the most part, that feature worked pretty well. There were a few times where it was a little buggy.
Yeah.
So what other games have you been interested in recently?
I've been playing. Let's see. I was telling Brent I've been playing Uplink lately, which was one of the ones. It's a really old game, but it's from one of the Humble Indie bundles, and it's a hacking simulator, which is kind of interesting because like just the way they do it is pretty interesting. It's very like mouse click heavy. There's hardly any typing in the whole game, which is kind of weird for a hacking simulator, right? But the way they do it, it's all like stuff that you would think of like from the movies. Like you register with this company that's like a hacking company, and then you have to start like working your way up with different kinds of jobs that you take on to hack different kinds of systems in different ways. Like you start off just like copying and deleting files, and then covering your tracks by deleting the logs on the servers that you bounce through and stuff like that. You have to bounce through these different connections around the world with like a world map to connect to these servers. And then so once you start doing that and you start getting some money, then you start getting your rating goes up at their company, and then you start getting more difficult jobs where, like, for instance, you have to hack into the Social Security database and change someone's status from employed to deceased.
Wow.
And it's like there's multiple layers of security that they have on that. You have to first like crack the password, and you have to try to avoid being traced. It's kind of like the movies where you have like, oh no, we're getting traced. We only have 30 seconds or something like that. So you get like a little timer, or depending on the software that you have, or some kind of indicator that your trace is in progress, and so you got to hurry up. So you like break in with a password, and then you got to one of the things I thought was pretty cool is they have a voice recognition system for logging in. I'll just explain this like one type, and that'll be it. This voice recognition system where it's like the server admin would type into the system, and then would speak his voice over the microphone like, this is the admin, my voice is my password. So the way you get around that system is you buy a voice analyzer software from the company you work at, and then you look at their About Us page for the Social Security Administration, and you find the phone number for the admin, and then you call the admin, and he goes, hello, okay, bye, and he hangs up, and then the voice analyzer uses that to assemble the whole phrase, like, I'm the admin, this is my voice, and my voice is my password. So then you log back into the thing, and then you press play on that, and it gets past that whole algorithm. So there's that, and there's various different other levels like proxies and ciphers and stuff like that you get around. So
if only real life were that easy.
I know, huh? You can't just click around and do all that.
Well, isn't that like Watch Dogs in a way?
Yeah, I was thinking of that.
You can just click around. And
yeah, pretty much. But it's all just like, it looks like a whole 90s, early 90s.
Yeah. So, like, hey, maybe I want to go out to a club tonight and find someone who's HIV positive.
Yeah. It's not like running around and shooting people or anything with that. It's just it looks like a really old computer. So.
Yeah, so that does remind me of Watch Dogs. Did you see the E3 video for it?
Yeah, it looks really good. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that.
That looks like it's going to be a If they can pull it off, it looks like it's going to be a really good game.
It's like a hacker's GTA.
For the most part, yeah.
GTA 5. Woo. All
right, Brent. So it's your turn. Give us the rundown for you. How'd you start off with Podtacular?
I just started listening. I don't remember which episode I started listening at, but it was kind of early into the show. Back when it was just foomojive, and then eventually Spelchek, and JVB would call in with different random phrases and things.
Right.
So then I kind of got into the community from there. I joined a clan, Podtacular Pro B. It was being I think G. Lewis was the clan leader at the time. He was either staff or clan leader. I don't remember.
So for the people who are more recent joiners of Podtacular, clans were a big thing back in the day for Podtacular, because Podtacular was founded in the realms of Halo 2, and Halo 2 had clan support. So we had 6 different rec clans and 3 pro clans?
There was like rec A, B, C, and D or something, and then Pro A, Pro B, and then the Podtacular All-Stars.
I thought there was a Rec E and F.
Maybe. I don't even remember. There might have been a Rec Z. I mean, really. But, I mean, there was a little bit of tension there because you'd have all these people in the Rec clans that, wanted to be in the Pro clans, and they just kind of missed the cut because we had tryouts and things. And actually, the only reason I got into Pro B was because we were playing a match on Headlong, and I got the shotgun and just kind of ran around killing everybody. It was just a lucky spree, but...
Shotgun noob.
Yep. But, they shouldn't have ran towards me, so it's their fault.
That's true. That's true.
Yep. Yeah. So I think JVB was the Overlord for Pro B. I think. He was either Overlord for Pro A or Pro B. But he was already, leading the community at that time. So even before he was a podcast giant, he was out there, community managing, helping people out, talking to them, having fun on Xbox Live.
The Overlord thing was actually a word from Halo 2 system. It's not something because it sounds like kind of like Overlord.
Oh yeah, we didn't coin that phrase. That was the actual term that they used on Halo 2. Like if you were the clan leader, you were the Overlord. And then there were staff and then members, and then below that there were peons. Yeah, so I remember being a peon for about 2 weeks in Pro B, and then you got upgraded to member if, you didn't turn out to be a complete D-bag.
One of those clan requirements.
Yeah. One of the things we tried to strive for in, the Podtacular clans was to keep all of the, crazy, vulgar, just, on Xbox Live, even in the early days, there were those, 12-year-old kids who should, they were saying things that they shouldn't have been saying. They were, yelling profanities. They would get mad if you killed them. Back then, there were standbyers. So you'd have, I never understood the point. If you're going to play a game, why would you quit, halfway through the game just because you got mad? But there were a lot
where's
of those.
My chocolate milk?
Well, people still do it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Even back in the Halo 2 days, kind of when Xbox Live was in its infancy, that stuff was already happening. So we had to kind of discriminate, find the good people out there, and there are good people, playing Halo. And that was kind of the point. Was Podtacular was supposed to be a safe place for people to, get together, just have fun playing the game.
Yep. So there's a rumor, I think, going for Halo 4 where we're going to have groups, which is kind of like a clan system. So if they bring something like that back, I'm hoping we have enough people that's in the community to get some of those up, and we can actually start looking into doing clans again.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of that just depends on if the new forums are done by the end of spring break.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not even that, though. I mean, forming the groups isn't much of an issue, but yeah, having features on the forums to do that is on the list. Definitely.
Like, we experienced, a lot of the problem clans that, I don't know, the clans eventually went away. I think the last one that I know of that had clans was Graw too. But eventually they, even in Halo, I guess, if I remember right, in Halo 2,
well, wasn't it because
they took away clan battles, which basically like took away the whole point of clans. So it was more just like an affiliation after that. But we experienced like more of the problems with clans about how you had all these, all this drama going on where people would be in charge of a clan and then they would let their friends be administrators and they would go and get mad at somebody or play some kind of joke and delete everybody or something, or hold the whole clan hostage or something like that. So we had to change names of clans and all this stuff. It was just kind of a big mess, unfortunately. I guess it's just that's what happens when you have a whole bunch of clans. There's always some kind of mistakes going on, but I think it's kind of cool, the system that's more of a newer setup where, like in Call of Duty and various games like that, where you basically you put whatever clan affiliation you want to. And there's no acceptance to the clans or different rankings or anything like that. I kind of like that system because then you have no possibility the only possibility you have of problems is when someone says they're part of the clan but they're not. But it's like, who cares? You could just say, oh, they're not in our clan.
Right. So. Although from what it sounded like, the clans in Halo 2 were kind of cool. Having those clan battles.
It's like they have their pluses and minuses,
Yeah. Wasn't it a Microsoft reason that they said the clans weren't supported? Or that they weren't supposed to be doing that kind of thing?
What do you mean Microsoft reason? Like, they were too lazy kind of reason?
Yeah, they were too much fun. People were enjoying them too much.
I think it was actually something like a terms of service kind of thing.
Nah, who cares? Yeah. Just change the terms of service. Who cares, honestly?
No, exactly. But it was like, it was one of those things where you could actually use it as a second friends list, and that was against the Xbox Live terms of service.
Oh no, the police are going to come arrest us all.
They need to expand that friends list, though.
Yeah, speaking of that, now that Halo 2 and all that old Xbox stuff has been wiped out, where is the bigger friend list? How long has it been? 2 years now we've been waiting?
Yeah, it's...
If I have to see ads every time I get on Xbox Live, even if you have Xbox Live, go.
Whoa. Fumo.
Robo-foo.
Fumo, what happened to your mic? What were you saying, Brent?
I don't remember that. No.
Ads every time you come
ads
on.
Everywhere on Xbox Live. It's insane. Like, you're paying $60 a year, right? They even increased the fee. And everywhere on the Xbox Live dashboard, there's ads. And then they can't let you, like, expand your friends list over 100 people. Like, they really can't get around to that with all of that cash they're making off of ads.
It doesn't make sense.
They're just lazy and they don't care. See, they understand that. I mean, they have us all hooked in. We're gonna pay and we're gonna put up with it just because we love playing multiplayer so much. We're like slaves to them.
They're like, yeah, you're gonna take it.
Yeah, I think exactly. Like, what are we all gonna do? Unsubscribe? No, we like playing multiplayer too much. It's a losing battle.
You will obey. Microsoft owns you. They own your $60 a year.
But we're paying, like you said, we're paying $60 a year and we're still getting ads, which makes no sense.
Oh, it makes sense. They don't care. They're just, they're just cheap.
I want them to be gone. To be honest.
What really infuriated me was Penny Arcade has their own, like, kind of gaming journalism side now called the Penny Arcade Report. And they've got some really cool articles on there, but there was this article about how much cash Microsoft was making just off of ads on Xbox Live, and it's like a crazy amount of money. Like, I don't even know the exact numbers, but just the money that they're making off of that, plus, the $60 a year entry fee just to play online with your friends,
Mm-hmm.
It's... I'm fine with paying the money. I'm fine with seeing a few ads, but I don't like that many ads on the dashboard. And if I'm going to be paying for all this stuff and looking at ads, they need to, like, add functionality to the service, Yeah. At least give us what we want when we ask for it.
Right.
And we've been asking for expanded friends lists for,
who knows how long.
Years now. Since, like, the clan days.
Yeah.
People were using the clans as a second friends list because they had to.
Well, and when you meet new people too, like whenever you go to gaming events or whenever you go to a new website, my friends list is constantly full, and I I really can't delete anyone anymore because I play with a bunch of different people now, and my friends list is I can't do anything else with it.
Yeah, it's a travesty.
And there are some people on my friends list where it's like I'm keeping them just for the sake of keeping them. Like my brother, it's like I don't play with him that much, but he's my brother. I'm not going to remove him from my friends list.
Yeah.
So, and heck, 100 isn't even a binary number. They could make it like 125 or something.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people would be thrilled with having just that much more, just having 25 more slots.
Yeah. I don't even use all my slots. I'm kind of just like around 80 or something.
So, I mean, I've had problems with whole friends list for, I don't know, 3-4 years now.
Yeah.
So,
no, Brent, the amount of money that Microsoft makes off all that, is that more or less than what Blizzard Entertainment makes off of all the WoW subscription money?
Oh gosh,
that's a pretty
I'm
hefty
still looking
number.
for the editorial right now.
Yeah.
I know that how many people do they have subscribed
like
right
11,
now?
11 million or something.
Yeah, 11 million times 15 a month for God since like 2005, I think.
4, yeah.
Yeah, man.
And then, no, not even that. Like, okay, it's like you have to add the base subscription fee, and then how much money they make off of like the server transfers that are like $25 each, and then the race changes, and then
and all the vanity items.
Yeah, all the pets and mounts you can buy off the Blizzard store.
I don't understand why they sold out to Activision. Like, I understand that it's Activision Blizzard or whatever. Like, they're supposed to be like half and half partners, but to me, it's still like Activision. Wears the pants in that relationship.
The Sith Lord Bobby, was it Bobby Kotick at the
Is
throne?
he still around? Like I haven't.
He's still.
He used to be like the straw man that gaming journalists could just burn down whenever they wanted to. So when Kotaku needed hits, they would just write about Bobby.
Yeah. Although Activision's kind of like been forgotten about lately. Like EA is kind of the new big bad guy with the online passes and all that lately.
I don't know. I mean, ever since the Xbox 360 came out, like DLC and all of that stuff just started this kind of, I don't know, like a downward spiral.
I don't really get the online pass now.
If it's to promote early adopters and like pre-orders and stuff, I think. I mean, like people who buy new copies on day one.
It's restricting the used game market is what it's doing.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean. If you want to look at it on a positive note, it's like, oh, we're promoting early adopters and like people who buy new copies, but then like the reality of it is, like trying to kill the used game market because they don't get any money from used copies of their games being sold. Yeah.
So what other games have you guys like been interested in over like the past? Well, for you, Brent, it's like 6. So give us like a little rundown of the kind of games that you've been playing.
In the past 6 years or the past 6 months?
6. Oh, did I say years? I meant months.
No, I mean, I just didn't know. I mean, this is the 7th anniversary. The past 6 months, I've been playing Theater.
Or, I mean, if you want to date back to when you first joined Podtacular, be my guest, but that's probably going to be really long.
let me go down the list here. No, I've been playing 3DS games. I got this 3DS, and the only thing I could really enjoy on it at the time was the 3D remake of Ocarina of Time, and I'm like, I've already played this game like 25 times before. So, I mean, it was fun, playing it for the 26th time with improved visuals in 3D, but I wanted to play some new games. So, I've got Theater Rhythm Final Fantasy, which is a rhythm-based
it's like a mix between Rock Band and Final Fantasy.
Well, no, it's like that Elite Beat Agents game, right? Kind of.
Yeah, it's kind of like Elite Beat Agents. It's got a lot of the same gameplay mechanics, but it just uses Final Fantasy music from the past 13 games.
Okay.
They don't include like the sub games like Final Fantasy X-2 or 12-2
or Dirge of Cerberus.
Yeah, Dirge of Cerberus, Dissidia. That's not in there.
Crisis Core.
Yeah. They don't include any of the crappy movies.
Advent Children.
Yeah, Spirits Within or whatever. So, but yeah, just it's music that I've really enjoyed. Final Fantasy's in my opinion, has some of the best music in all of gaming, just because of
Mhm.
Nobuo Uematsu.
Oh yeah.
And so yeah, I just wish they had included Chrono Trigger music on there for no reason. But I know that I'm never going to be able to man, I don't know. I just love Chrono Trigger. I love Final Fantasy. So Square Enix has me hooked. I didn't enjoy Final Fantasy 13. I enjoyed the gameplay mechanics.
All right.
The
I haven't
gameplay
played
was
any.
great.
I haven't
Go ahead.
played any Final Fantasy games.
Well, that's the thing with 13. Everyone loved the battle system and whatnot, but hated the the linearity of like the first 30 hours. It takes 30 hours to get to like the first really big open area in the game, and then everybody thought the story was just kind of stupid and overdramatic a lot of the time.
Yeah, it's like a 30-hour tutorial, and then here's some game, bro, and then and then literally though it's like almost completely optional. Like you can run around in the open area, you can have fun, and I mean you
Do, like,
have
side
to want
quests,
to enjoy the game at all.
Yeah, like monster hunting and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they're like, you want to get out of here and finish the story or whatever. You're like, yeah. So then it just continues on a path of linearity till the end, and then it's over. But it is
Hopefully
overly
they were-
dramatic. Go ahead.
It's like Japanese pop star stuff, in a way.
Hopefully they were humbled a bit by the response to all that, because at least on Final Fantasy 14 they definitely were. That's obvious. But with 13, it's like, remember how they had like the video before 13 came out that didn't even like really show anything. It just had some guy that in a suit saying Final Fantasy 13, the most anticipated game ever.
Oh yeah, that was hilarious. I love that
You're
commercial.
gonna love it, or something like that.
The
And
most
it was
anticipated game.
I know, it's like not really, and yeah, they were really like milking it, like resting on their laurels of the whole Final Fantasy franchise.
Isn't that the one where he says at the end that he doesn't know the release date, but then the camera flies up and it shows the release date or something?
Yeah, he's like, I don't know the release date, but when they tell me, I'll let you know. And then I just want to smack that guy. I'm like, no, I think I actually saw him in another commercial though. You can tell he's just a professional. I mean, there's actors, right? And then there's television ad actors.
Right.
This guy was in the television ad, so I'm like, I don't know how much they paid this guy to do this Final Fantasy 13 commercial, but they must have just told him that this was like the greatest gaming franchise of all time. Like everybody's super pumped. There's going to be like millions and millions of people around the world getting ready for it. And there were, but I mean, it wasn't like a Call of Duty release or
Right.
even Halo. I mean, it
And they
has
got
its niche. But
They got the criticism about the linearity before the game even came out, and they just instead of actually taking the criticism into account and maybe considering changing it, they just defended it and just got defensive about the whole thing. They were like, well, yes, it's linear, it's a story, therefore, you have to have a story, it has a beginning and the end, it has some process in between, therefore it's a linear kind of game, so shut up.
yeah,
basically-
linear.
Maybe that criticism is what put the one like open area into it. Maybe if there was no criticism, then that open area would have never happened in the end.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, you want us to just patch that open area right out? We'll just make it a straight path right through the game. Huh? How about that?
is that what you want? Okay, then shut up.
Well, they were arguing that like if a game is too open, it's more difficult to tell a really cohesive story.
Yeah.
Which
isn't, well, I mean, that's understandable, but you can do it in a pretty good way, and
yeah,
I mean, that's one of the reasons why I like Fallout, and I'm still playing Fallout.
yeah. Although I would say
There's
most gamers, most competent gamers who like play a game that's open world but it has story, I mean, they'll go do a bunch of open world stuff like side quests, but then when they come back to the story stuff, they'll probably still remember what's going on at least.
Exactly. I mean, the problem with that is they're arguing with the people that are potentially going to be buying your stuff. Like, no, we're going to do it our way. No, we're not going to do it the way that you would want to do if you were to buy our stuff. It's like, what? You do it with what your customers want. That's how you have a product that sells.
Yeah, which is why when was it Insomniac announced that they'd be giving the main character of the Infamous games hair instead of being bald, and all the fans.
Well, he wasn't bald. He was just he had a shaved head, kind of. It was
buzz
shaved down,
cut. Yeah.
buzz cut. And he didn't look anything like Cole McGrath. Really, I mean, he looked kind of. It looked like a completely different person. It's like whenever they like replace actors on television sitcoms, like back in the 80s and 90s, with completely different actresses or actors, like the Becky on Roseanne.
Yeah,
Like,
or
it went
like
for,
like Aunt Vivian on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
yeah,
Yeah.
like that. But it was a video game, so it's like, why are you doing this? Like, you don't have to do. You can make the exact same character. You can model them exactly the same.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I guess not if they're doing like facial capture animation things like that with actors, but I don't think that was happening with Cole McGrath.
He's like Static Shock, right?
Yeah, superhero Static Shock.
All right.
Well, at least with Final Fantasy 14, though, they actually did kind of humble pie and kind of go back to the drawing board on that.
Yeah.
I don't think it's out yet, but they're doing a whole.
What, 13 too?
No. Final Fantasy 14.
Oh yeah, A Realm Reborn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, but that's a different game. I mean, that was just an MMO that launched and had like a completely broken system.
Well, those are two completely different development teams too. 13 and 14 were developed concurrently, and both were broken at the same time. So.
Well, no, 13 was a way better game than 14 ever was, but I don't think 13 was broken. It just people just didn't like the design of it and stuff sometimes.
I never played. I mean, I was just only commenting on the whole concept of them being kind of arrogant and not listening to their users when they have a whole realm of like the people that are if you were selling, I don't know, if you were selling some kind of product and you had a whole like venue where you could have your customers tell you what they wanted, I mean, that would be like awesome, because then you could just do what they want and therefore, make more money. But it's like, when they're hearing that and they're not doing what their customers want, it's just like not cool.
Yeah. And then they announced Final Fantasy Versus 13 like in 2006, and that's still like nowhere to be found.
Yeah. There was actually a thing about that recently.
The rumors that it was canceled.
Yeah, Kotaku needed some hits.
Working on it. Oh yeah, it's still.
Yeah, Kotaku needed it. Yeah, because
it was that time of the month, time to pay the bills. Like, I wonder if Final Fantasy Versus 13 is still around. Nope. It's we've had a rumor that it was completely canceled. Not going to be around. Not going to be at the whatever little event they were having over in Tokyo. It's gone. And then that producer was like, "No, I've been working on it the past week. Like, I think it's still around."
We haven't got like a new trailer or anything like in the past year.
Midget Dance says, "What about Kingdom Hearts 3?"
Well, that's the thing, because the development team that would make Kingdom Hearts 3 is currently working on Versus 13. So, however Versus 13 turns out is completely connected to Kingdom Hearts 3 ultimately.
I think that's one of the problems they have too, is they've got this development staff and they just spread them too thin, and they spread them they give them these future projects that they have to finish before a deadline.
Oh yeah.
They're like, all right, after you finish this massive game, then we're going to put you on this other massive game, and they better both be awesome or else. Even
if they are awesome, it's no guarantee. Like the whole team for LA Noire, that game won a ton of awards, did really well in sales. And all the entire studio got
Team Bondi, yeah.
Yeah, the entire studio got dumped right after the game.
Well, apparently the head of Team Bondi was just like a horrible person. He's like, "It's an honor to work here. Right, you will kiss my feet."
Kiss the ring, baby.
Yeah, apparently he was just a horrible boss or something. It was like, and they were had ridiculous hours, ridiculous work weeks. They're missing out on their families and all this, horror stories.
Well, that's everything, man. There's the horror stories abound in the whole gaming industry. That's why I don't want to work in the gaming industry.
Yeah, Rockstar has kind of the worst horror stories.
But their games are so great, right?
Yeah, I mean, they're great because these people are dying to put them together, literally dying, of sleep deprivation. They're ruining their relationships with their loved ones. And...
I got an interesting story about that actually. I was at a event a while back, and I ran into a recruiter for EA. And she was, or actually, it was a recruiter for a third party that was recruiting for EA. So she was saying they're recruiting for web developers, and I was like, I do not want to work in the game industry, especially for EA. I've heard terrible things. Like, she's like, oh, they know about that. You see, like a few years ago, things were bad, but now they're really good. I'm like, yeah, sure, right. She's like, no, really, like they used to have like bad hours and stuff like that, and they used to just like treat people like crap. But that's really finally come full circle and gotten to where nobody wants to work for them anymore. So they finally started changing their whole attitude about that and really treating their employees well, doing no more than 40 hours mandatory, things like that, giving them all the benefits they need, stuff like that. So it's a lot better now. So I don't know how true that is. I don't really still believe it, but I do think that's interesting that they were forced to finally, treat employees well in order to keep employees and hire new employees. So
Yeah.
that realm. I don't know about how it is in the programming area, but apparently it's completely separate from the whole web team. So.
Yeah, well, basically, like Square Enix, they love biting off way more than they can ultimately chew. They love just like announcing all these projects, and it takes so long for them to actually come to fruition. Like they announced a Final Fantasy X HD remake like a year ago. We have yet to get a trailer or anything. Apparently, it's supposed to be for like Vita and PS3. That's nowhere to be found. They were talking about Final Fantasy 5 and 6 remakes for like 3DS like 2 years ago. That's nowhere to be found. They're overly ambitious.
Like that Final Fantasy VII, that remake that's never coming, but it's coming eventually when they need cash.
The tech demo for PS3.
Final Fantasy 13-3. They're making another.
When
part of the
13.2
Lightning
came out.
Saga.
Yeah, when 13.2 came out, they registered the domain name for 13.3.
Dude, that's all anybody wants is a like really good quality remake of Final Fantasy VII. That's like, just give us that and we're good.
Well, they're re-releasing it for PC or something soon, right? That's what I heard.
I should probably get to playing it because I've had plenty of people tell me to play and I just haven't done it yet.
Yeah, they were like, we need some cash. How do we make cash? Re-release it on PC.
Yeah.
You want real cash.
Graphics up-res, maybe?
But what's funny is they're acting like this is the first time it's ever been on PC. It's actually been on PC before, but they're like, finally, PC gamers can experience the magic of Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, not through emulation, that is.
They want real cash. Just remake it for PS3 or whatever, like fully.
Yeah.
But Dusty, when you get around to playing that flower girl, Eris, she will be in your party for the entire game. Let me tell you, level her up.
Yeah, if you don't want to be spoiled immediately, just don't Google Final Fantasy VII at all.
Yeah, just
all right.
completely black out from the internet when it relates to Final Fantasy.
Because kind of like the big defining moment of can video games make you cry is the big spoiler in that game. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, don't Google can video games make you cry. Don't Google Final Fantasy VII. Don't Google Aerith. Don't Google Sephiroth.
Well, don't tell me what not to Google because then I'll go Google it.
Yeah.
You never tell someone not to do something because then they go do it anyways.
Dude, that was a crazy long game, man. I've never gotten very far. I mean, I've gotten outside of the first area and into the open world, but I've only gotten a short ways beyond that. It just dragged.
I just recently got done playing all the way through the Mass Effect games.
Did you?
Yeah, one of my friends convinced me to get it, so for the past 2 months, up to like 2 weeks ago, I was playing nothing but Mass Effect.
What'd you think?
I'm starting to beat myself over for not getting it in the first place.
Ah.
Because I really enjoyed it.
Awesome.
Like, when it first came out, I was like, I have Halo, I'm probably not going to be not have much time to play any other game, so I really didn't get it. And then Mass Effect 2 came out, Mass Effect 3 came out. I played the beta for Mass Effect 3, the multiplayer beta, but other than that, I hadn't played it at all, and then someone finally convinced me to play it, and I really enjoyed it.
Did you finish it before or after the ending
the update.
DLC? Oh, after?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry that you didn't get to see that amazing ending that they had before the update.
Oh, I watched it on YouTube.
That's what free.
I went to YouTube and watched it.
Really, the endings aren't that different. You just get a little more exposition at the end. Like, Like not exposition, really, just an epilogue. But
Well, I mean, from what I can tell, the option I chose was the red option to blow up the station. So.
Don't tell me I haven't played 3.
Oh, you haven't? Okay, I'll
did
shut my
you get
mouth.
red, green, or blue ending?
I did red.
Or no ending?
I did red. Well, that was weird. So, yeah, I'll have to talk unless Fumo wants to plug his ears for a minute.
All right, I'll pull out my earphones for like.
Wait.
We'll send you a Skype message when we're done.
Oh wait, but before we do this, I gotta get going. Sorry, but thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for coming. Sorry you couldn't be here longer.
Yeah, I need to go to a relative's house, and I don't want to get there too late. So.
Okay.
Okay. See ya. Bye, everyone.
All right. Say bye to Daft, everyone in the chat.
Bye, Daft.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, so yeah, apparently the no option ending was new, and that was the first one I chose through my run through, and I honestly thought that it was how the thing was doing it. So basically, Shepard says, "No, I'm going to do this my way," and I thought that was going to be the same option as blowing up the station. Apparently not.
No.
So, like my friend who I was playing with, he was going through insane mode and doing it at the same time I was doing it. So he was just a little behind me at the time, and he's like, "So what option did you choose?" I'm like, I don't know. I pretty much said screw it, and then everything just kind of blew up. And okay, that was my phone. So yeah, apparently that option wasn't part of the original set 3. You couldn't do that. So I went back and chose an option, and I chose the red option. And from what I saw on YouTube, it didn't show like everyone rebuilding and repairing their stuff. So it looked like everyone was pretty much stranded, and everything that was basically computer based was essentially fried.
Yeah.
So, but then with the update, it seemed like they were able to rebuild actually pretty quickly and get everything back up and running, except you don't have the Mass Effect relays. So I'm assuming a lot of that intergalactic travel takes a lot longer.
Oh yeah. A little bit.
So, but yeah, what were your thoughts on it? Because I'm still kind of fresh to the idea, so my thoughts aren't as developed with me only playing it over 2 months.
So I played it since the very beginning. I had Mass Effect 1 when it came out, release day. I had Mass Effect 2 release day, and on Mass Effect 3, I didn't have it on release day, but I rented it and finished it in like 2 days. So I rented it back when it was the original ending, the original lame endings. I chose the green ending, the synthesis ending.
All right.
Because I was sitting there and I'm like, well, I don't want to, kill. I just spent, 10 hours saving the Geth from, destroying the Quarians, and they're, establishing peace. So now I want to just, kill off all the Geth. Like, why would I want to do that? So I didn't want to, destroy the synthetics, yeah.
Right.
And I thought about the control ending, and I'm like, well, yeah, I can kind of see maybe controlling the Reapers, but like,
so
whatever. There was this. Go ahead.
So just in me hearing stuff before I played it, I was hearing all the discussions about the green and blue options being your those are the 2 indoctrinated options, and then the red one is you're not indoctrinated. So
Yeah.
Is that still true, or?
Well, I don't think so.
Because from watching the stuff on YouTube, it doesn't seem like it.
Well, the thing was, back before the ending DLC, there was a case to be made that you were indoctrinated, because the only ending that led to you seeing your Shepard like breathe at the end of the game
was the red ending.
The red ending, where essentially that was the refusal ending in the beginning. Like, no, I'm not going to let you live. I'm not going to let the Reapers continue, and I don't want to force, synthesism on, the entirety of organic life and synthetic life. But, so yeah, there was a case to be made, and then there was that indoctrination video that laid out all of the evidence and stuff. So at first, after I had chose the synthesis ending. I felt bad because I was like, oh, they tricked me. Like the indoctrination theory's true. And
Right.
felt bad about that, but I didn't have the game anymore, so I couldn't like go back and change it or anything. And I wouldn't have changed it anyway. Like the point of that game is like it's your story. So if they trick me, like I thought it was clever if they'd actually tricked me. I was like, oh,
yeah, I know, right?
You got me, buddy. Yeah, like I should have seen it coming. But,
yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Then the ending DLC comes out, and like they add all of this, epilogue to the game, and they show you what happens to civilization after your choice, and the synthesis ending is actually really good. I don't know if you watched the other two.
I haven't watched
it.
I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, do you mind me spoiling it?
Go for it.
Yeah, like basically you choose the synthesis, and Edie narrates the end. So Shepard's dead, but Edie is like, I am alive. And she's developed emotions and things because the synthetics become organic, just like the organics become synthetic. So like all of the robots and synthetic life.
Yeah, it's hybrid stuff
gain,
now.
Like, yeah, they gain emotion just like the organics gain the communication. So organics basically start this great society where everybody's connected, and the Reapers basically contribute all of the knowledge over the past, however many civilizations they've decimated into current civilization, humanity, the Sari, all of those people. So civilization experiences this rapid growth, and I don't know if it changes depending on what happened, like the Krogan rebuild.
Okay.
Like Tachanka becomes this massive place. They're like, Edie's like, we were able to rebuild, and then we surpassed it. Like, they showed, humanity has these massive ships that they've created, and so it's basically just everything's all right. Like,
all hunky dory.
They talk about the possibility of surpassing mortality in the future, like death won't even be an option for people. So Edie's like, the option of immortality could lead to a future I cannot even imagine. So it's real emotional and things. And
right.
So I mean, the big part of why I chose Synthesis 2 was because I thought Edie was a cool character. Like, I didn't want to see Edie die. And in Mass Effect 3, you see Edie, start this relationship up with Joker.
Exactly.
So I was like, well, what's going to be the best way for Joker and Edie to have a romantic relationship? Synthesis. So I ran towards the green light, and basically that's what happened.
All right. Yeah, I'll have to read up. They have books for Mass Effect, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking about buying the books. Not sure yet.
I never read the books. I don't know. So
someone in here, ETH103 Beta 1, wants to know what your thoughts are on Animal Crossing on the 3DS.
I am ready for any type of Animal Crossing I can get. I didn't play it on Wii,
I thought they had it on the DS, or the 3DS already. No, they had it on the DS, sorry.
Yeah, it's on DS, but they've already shown some like trailer footage or something for Animal Crossing 3DS. I don't remember what the exact name is. I think it is just Animal Crossing 3DS.
All right.
But yeah, like the world is curved and things like they've been doing in the past Animal Crossing games. And it goes
Imagine it in 3D.
Yeah, like a world curvature in 3 dimensions.
Oh gosh. I've never actually held a 3DS before, so I don't know how the 3D effect works quite that.
As long as you have it right in front of your face, kind of like you're looking straight into the screen, it works pretty well.
See, I like move around, so I'm always in different angles to the handheld. So,
well, they say that the 3DS XL kind of alleviates that problem because it has a wider viewing angle for the 3D. Just by virtue of having a bigger screen. So you might want to look into that if you're going to get a 3DS. I would definitely just get the XL, if only because it doesn't have like major design flaws. Like the 3DS, like the bottom part of it kind of cuts into your hand, like the bezel around it. It's not squared, but it's kind of like squared off a little bit, just enough to cut into the palm of your hand. The screen, like the bottom touch screen, it's kind of bezeled up, off of the panel, and it cuts into the top screen. So like if you ever press down on your 3DS at all, just like even gently, you end up with these like two vertical slashes, kind of scratched onto your top screen, and it just looks weird. It doesn't like ruin it. Like as soon as you turn it on and look at it, you don't really see the scratches, but just opening it up and looking at the screen, like you can definitely see where the touch screen is cut into the top screen. And that's a widespread problem across original 3DSs. I've heard that they're actually replacing them. If you like call them up and tell them, yeah, my screen's scratched, I need a new 3DS, like Nintendo.
I still haven't played Heart Gold on my DS. Like ever since I was playing with you and Greg, like once we stopped doing it, I haven't played it since. I need to go through and play it. Do you still have? You had Heart Gold, right?
Silver.
Oh, you had Soul Silver. Greg had Heart Gold. Do you still have that?
Yes, I have that. I have Pokemon Black. I'm waiting for the Pokemon Black 2 to come out in North America.
Just wish I had time to play it.
Yeah. It's a time sink.
Oh no, there's something generational about Pokemon. Cause Fumo, what's your stance on Pokemon?
He hates it.
I don't know that I have a stance on Pokemon necessarily.
You're a little old for that, aren't you?
Yeah, it wasn't when I was a kid. Pokemon wasn't at the time, so it wasn't out yet. So I missed the whole Pokemon Game Boy game going crazy and everything. So I'm sure that was a big part of it, and the cards and everything. But I did play the cards later on. When I was in, I think when I got out of the military, and I was looking at different kinds of work and stuff. One thing I did was sold stuff on eBay that I just found at garage sales and different things like that. So I would go to garage sales and get, like, of course, being a gamer, I find all kinds of like vintage gaming stuff, and I found like old Atari 2600s and all kinds of different old Nintendo 64s and things like that. But I also found huge shoeboxes full of Pokemon cards, and I was always curious about it. So one time I just bought it, like a big shoebox for like $5 or something like that.
$5.
And of course I didn't really know when to play it with, because I asked my wife to play it with. She's like, no.
It's like, go away, you nerd.
Yeah, shut up and I'll play Pokemon with you, dork. So I went and got the Pokemon TCG card game on Game Boy
Color.
Yeah, it was on Game Boy Color, but I also had, like, I think it was actually one of those ones around when the Color came out, so it was available both on the Color and the black and white version. So at the time, it was like the Palm Pilot era, so I had a Game Boy emulator on my Palm Pilot. It's one of the few things that I could run at a low frame rate and still play the game. So it was like super sketchy back then. I had like no sound. I had like 5 frames a second or something like that.
Wow.
But I played like the whole game on that, and I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. The card game was pretty cool. It's definitely a different setup than like Magic the Gathering, but it's still really enjoyable. I really liked it with the whole evolution of the Pokemon and everything, and knocking them out. And you have like 3 Pokemon in your, and the 2 in the hopper, I guess. And it was just a cool setup. You could switch them out and stuff like that. So,
nice.
like the card game. But that's about as far as I went. I never did play the whole Pokemon Emerald and Green and Orange and Purple and whatever on Game Boy, even though it's everybody always raves about those. I never could get into that one. I just like the card game so much.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things where you had to be there. Like, I don't know if Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow would really hold up today, especially after people have been spoiled with
I love Pokemon
Gold
Yellow
and Silver and all. But if you're going to play a Pokemon game, if you just really feel like you need to understand, why did people enjoy this way back in the day, I would suggest getting one of the Gold and Silver remakes.
Yeah,
for
I would
DS.
say Gold and Silver are probably the prime of Pokemon as it is.
Yeah,
because you only have 254 or 253.
253.
I think it's 3. So, yeah, once it got more than that, it just was ridiculous. I'm shaking my head like, really? You're adding more Pokemon? How many are there now? Like 600 something?
Yeah. I don't know. I'll look up. No, let's see. Unova Pokédex. I'm on Bulbapedia right now.
Well, yeah, let's say
Yeah.
Brent goes to Bulbapedia.
Let's see.
I mean, it's ridiculous. There's too much.
649.
Jesus.
So yeah, but I mean, I understand though. You need to add more Pokemon. You can't just stick with the original ones. I mean, if you're gonna have new games, people want new Pokemon.
But dude,
They were...
yeah, that is kind of.
Halo, you gotta have
And
new
some-
weapons, enemies.
Yeah, some of them are losers. Some of these new Pokemon aren't that great. Especially in the I think it was the 4th generation was the one I didn't like. The Diamond and Pearl. I never even played those games. Like, full disclosure, never played Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. Don't really care to. Like, I just don't like those designs. Like, some people, they look back and they see Ruby and Sapphire as kind of the black sheep, but I enjoyed Ruby and Sapphire.
Ruby and Sapphire was all right. They added a lot of new things in Ruby and Sapphire. So that was one of the cool things about those games. But yeah, Diamond and Pearl, I never got.
Yeah, that was kind of like when I was in my I better quit playing Pokemon if I ever want to get laid phase.
Well, I don't know. I mean, there are plenty of women out there who are probably part of that generation that just love Pokemon.
Yeah, I remember in Dallas, my grandparents were in town to come visit me in college, and they were having, I think it was A-Con or something in Dallas, and we got off the bus, and my grandpa looked over, and there was this chick in a Pikachu bikini, basically, just walking around. Like, she had Pikachu ears, like a string bikini that was yellow, and then like a tail. It was like, I was kind of embarrassed. Like, I didn't know how to explain cosplay to my grandparents. Like,
that's one of those just nerdy cultural things, though.
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, even women love Pokemon because kind of the cutoff date. I think if you were born before 1990, you're probably not into Pokemon. But anything past 1990, there's a good chance.
I was born in '89.
Yeah. So maybe the cutoff's even earlier. Maybe 85.
It's kind of fuzzy where it is.
80. Yeah.
But
84.
even some of the kids today like Pokemon.
Oh yeah, but I mean like.
And the TV show's still running, right?
Oh yeah, they're on their like 1,500th episode or something. I don't know.
I remember when you were gonna do a write up a day for like 1 or 2 episodes of the show, and then you got through like the first 5 or 6, and then you said screw it.
Well, I made it through more than 5 or 6. I can't remember.
I think you only had like 5 or 6 write ups, and then you kind of stopped.
I don't remember. I'll have to look that up because I remember like day after day I actually committed to that. I actually did it. I had the the video, and I was able to take screen captures and post pictures of the different episodes.
It's on the forums somewhere.
Yeah, it's I think it was in
open discussion.
Maybe.
Yeah,
somewhere in the
or
past.
media.
Yeah, it was just like
it's one of the two.
After a while, I'm like, who am I writing this for? Like,
well, and then you came up with an interesting point when during your write-ups. It's like Ash has not aged.
No, he hasn't. He's been 10 for the past
15 years.
Yeah.
It's like Stewie and Family Guy. They've had 10 seasons and he's still a baby.
It's like Dick Clark, the eternal teenager. Except Ash was the eternal 10-year-old.
That'd be weird to see like an adult Pokemon movie or something.
Yeah. I always wondered about that. Like, you look back and things like the Smurfs and all these kind of vintage properties, Transformers, they've come back into vogue. Like, there was a point where if you had told me, like, Transformers is going to be this huge, multi-million-dollar media franchise and Stephen Bay is going to direct it and explosions and Shia LaBeouf and, Megan Fox, all these, like, I wouldn't have believed you. It'd be like if they started making Thundercats movies that were making millions of dollars, 3 years from now.
Yeah, you may have to eat those words someday, man.
That's what I'm saying. Like I can totally see Michael Bay making a Thundercats movie. So, I mean, what are they going to do with Pokemon in the future? Because that's a huge franchise, and there's a lot of nostalgia for it.
Pokemon with explosions and Pokemon with explosions content.
Yeah.
I don't know how you're going to
great.
fit that in there, but if it's a Michael Bay movie, you got to do it.
John Stamos stars in it as Ash.
Wow.
Actually,
That'd be
it'd probably
interesting.
be like he'd be old enough. He could probably play Professor Oak. If John Stamos plays Professor Oak in a Pokemon live action film, I will pay 3 times to see that movie in theaters, even if it's awful.
Really?
3 times at future prices. So that's like what, $50 a pop?
That's a lot.
But at least it'll be in 3D or 6D, whatever we've got at that point in time.
360. Wait, 60? So what's? I know 40 is like the
Dude, you'd be
time
traveling
dimension.
time pretty
Yeah,
quick.
we're go ahead.
At some point, you got dimension of time, so you be going back in time. You can go to the back to when you were a kid watching Pokemon. So that's one.
Yeah, the ultimate nostalgia tool.
That'd be
It's like
crazy.
the Wayback Wind machine or the Wayback Machine,
Wow.
but in real life. Yeah, I don't know.
But in real life.
Yeah, people hate it when we talk about Pokemon. They really do, because there's
No, they don't.
There are a small number of people who enjoy Pokemon and have nostalgia for it. Then there's an even larger number of people who are just apathetic. They might have played a Pokemon game in the past, but they just don't care nowadays. And then there's another contingent of people who actively despise Pokemon. They hate it. They hate when you talk
I've
about
only
it.
seen maybe 1 or 2 comments.
But what I'm saying is, usually you can find these people playing the mature games on Xbox Live, like Call of Duty or the Halo, things like that. They're like, I didn't come to listen to a podcast about Halo to hear about Pokemon, and I can understand that
True.
completely.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean,
So-
that's kind of the nature of our show, though. We're
Like, you could talk about anything else too, and they won't care. You talk
Well,
about Animal
well,
Crossing. You
well,
can talk
I mean,
about Final Fantasy. You can
the
talk
point
about
about
Mass
that
Effect.
is we bring up Pokemon regularly. I think it's just the regular recurrence of it, which is the same thing which happened to us with Daft in Politics. And yeah, you make a good point where it's like, yeah, this is the Halo podcast. We need to be Halo focused.
Did I say Stephen Bay?
Yeah, you did.
Oh
yeah.
Michael Bay. I did Stephen Bay.
Oh, wow, that didn't even click to me either until just
I
now.
I could see like Daft Link directing some sort of Transformers movie.
Have you heard him do who plays the Joker in the Batman movies?
Oh,
shoot.
Heath Ledger?
Yeah, he does a good impression of the
He's
Joker.
dead.
Yeah, I know.
I'm just saying, I thought you might think that he was still alive. Like,
No.
I've done that before. I've talked about people who were dead, who were like they were still alive, because I just didn't know.
Right. Well, I mean, yeah, it's just trying to keep up with the times and everything.
It's like, I wonder what Elvis is doing. Is he ever gonna put out a new album? Like,
He's singing in heaven, doing his thing. All right, so
here's a question. Since we're being the Halo focused podcast and everything, what do you guys think between Halo 4 and the new Call of Duty, as Black Ops 2? As far as, do you think Halo 4 is going to be more going towards like the class-based kind of system and some of the more modern, features that Call of Duty and various different games like that have, Battlefield and stuff like that? Do you think it's going to kind of more come into the realm of modern games where it has more complex environments in the multiplayer maps, a lot more customization, more of a real progression instead of just like
So, I think with a lot of the first-person shooter games that we have out there, you're going to see a merging of technology and how some of the features or the functionality works in multiplayer. So you've seen this a lot with Halo 4 already, with the class-based system. When they brought all the loadouts in Reach, it was compared to the classes in Call of Duty, and having the armor abilities as well. So I think the distinguishing factor in a lot of these first-person shooter games is going to be the environment in which they're set up and the campaign story. I think those are going to be two of the big assets that set games apart from here on out. But yeah, in terms of functionality, I think we're going to see a lot of Call of Duty-esque stuff in Halo 4, which I don't think is a bad thing. I mean, if it works and it works well with the how the game is established already, then there's no point to not try it out.
Sure. Yeah, it just seems like Halo has clung so tightly to to the whole concept of we have to keep it to where it's a very sterile competitive environment. To where when you play this game, you can play without any advantages, and anybody can come in from the beginning and not have an advantage over the other player. And it's like they clung to that even when the whole industry was getting to where we don't care about having a perfectly, a perfect no competitive advantage environment. We just care about having fun and having an enjoyable game, And Halo was like, no, you gotta be, it's gotta be a perfect environment, and it's like we don't care. So yeah, so it just seems like that's been the whole concept that they've clung on to, despite how the industry's moved on and stuff. So even with Reach, it's like, try like, okay, fine, we'll put classes in here, but we'll make it to where, everybody has the same class choice from the beginning, and you can choose between one or the other. There, fine, you happy? And none of the upgrades that you get from experience actually apply towards any kind of class improvements or anything like that. So, and plus, like, all the maps are in Halo. It's like it's such a big difference between Halo and pretty much any other modern shooter now. At least talking about Reach and below, where you have very simplified maps. Everything has to have at least 2 different ways of getting to it. Well, 3 different ways, I think, of getting to there from somewhere else, so that you can't hold up somewhere. It's just, it's over the top, like, optimization of everything. To where, like in Battlefield, if you compare it, it's ridiculous the size of those maps. Of course they have vehicles too, but they have that in Halo. I mean, you can get across maps. So it just makes you think. It's like, when are they going to finally, like, kind of let go and go towards, like, we want our game to be fun,
Right.
I'm not saying Reach and Halo 3 and Halo and ODST and all that weren't fun. They were fun games. It's just that they kind of have this sterile environment, I feel like, What do you guys think about that?
I miss the sterile environment, kind of. Or
Yeah.
I think I'm going to miss it. I obviously don't know. But, like, I think back, and I think about what armor abilities have kind of done for Halo. Because, I mean, that's kind of my jumping off point. That's the only reference point I have to compare Halo 4 to, like, maybe a Halo 3 or something like that. And even in Halo 3, they started, not the armor abilities, but they had what were they calling them? The
equipment.
Oh, man, equipment, yes.
Mm.
Equipment. So, I mean, they already kind of... But, I mean, to me, equipment was more of a weapon. I mean, it was a weapon. You had to actually find it on the map.
Right.
You didn't spawn with it, obviously. You didn't have it with you constantly. Once you used it up, it was gone,
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it had an area of effect and things like that, like the armor sapper and, trying to think of the bubble
energy
shield.
drainer, the
Yeah.
trip mine, the bubble shield.
Yeah, the trip mine was actually
regen.
fun back when you could stick it to the bottom of warthogs in the Halo 3 beta. Because
Yeah.
people would get into them and, like, run off, and just the second they tried to drive it.
I heard it
blow
got
up.
nerfed. Like, the trip mine got uber nerfed.
Yeah, that was. But
Which is unfortunate.
And they changed the whole the bubble shield as well, to where you used to be able to roll it, so you could, like, if you're running forward, you could throw it and it would roll, so you could actually have a moving bubble shield.
Oh yeah, if you were smart about it.
Yeah.
Like nowadays, though, you have to be stationary.
Right.
Think about armor lock. Like, every time someone would use armor lock on me successfully, or, like, avoid a stick using armor lock, I would get so mad. Like, I was like, this would never happen. Robo.
Robo Fumo again. Barely. Oh.
Somebody else, Skynet.
It sounded like one of the when you die in Call of Duty.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What the heck, man? Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
But I mean, things like the movement increasing armor abilities kind of ruin map layout in Halo Reach, if you think about it. Like, in
What do you
Halo
mean movement?
That's happening again, Boo. I mean, like think about the jetpack. Like before in any of the Halo games, you obviously had to like run up. You had to find an elevator. You had to find the airlifts, the ramps and things. Not an elevator, but you had to basically run to your destination always. You couldn't just fly there, especially if you needed to get up to the top of a building or the very top of the map.
Right.
You'd have to but now you can just jetpack anywhere.
Yeah.
And you start most matches with the jetpack. Like I can't think of any like match that I played in Reach where jetpack wasn't one of the default options, and it kind of like ruined sword base. Like I think about how would sword base play if you didn't have the jetpack? Like what would happen if I couldn't go all the way from the bottom of sword base to the very top in an instant without having to run up any of those ramps? Like because if everybody's playing on the same field, right? If everybody's doing the same thing, you can start anticipating people. And if you can anticipate how players are going to move, you can make a better game plan and then execute it,
Yeah.
But the more options people have, it's harder to anticipate where people are coming. Like,
whenever everyone goes up the yellow lift on sword base, I mean that's where half the games go on now is you're out that lift.
Yeah, I ended up with I think it was 12 consecutive shotgun kills in a Lone Wolf's match. And
wow.
I went from like the 7th ranked player in that match and to like winning the game. In
awesome.
Like a minute and a half.
Dang.
Because I had the shotgun and I just stood up there at yellow lift and
just camp.
Yep. Waited for it. And I wasn't even really camping. I was running around that entire area, but it has three different places where you can access it essentially. And people are running up there all the time anyway. You'd think that after being killed for 2 or 3 times with the shotgun, you'd just quit going up there. But people would like bring the sword, and I was like, yeah, bring it on, Like,
shotgun beats sword. Well, in Reach it's different now because it's hit detection instead of, or not hit, it's thing. What do they call the system? It's determined on the host, not or determined on the client instead of the server.
Yeah,
which is
I was
stupid.
probably hosting that match. The elevator room is crazy.
Yeah,
but
because I had a game yesterday where I saw a sniper contrail go through 2 walls and kill me. It's like, really? And then whenever you get a bull true, you still die by the sword. It's not a bull true because I still died. So I'm glad they're going back to the hit detection for Halo 4 though.
Oh yeah, obviously. I'm just glad the BR is back. It's kind of weird that there's
BR.
like the DMR and the BR in the same game. Like,
so I have to ask both you guys this: which one do you prefer? Which one do you guys think you'll start off with, the BR or the DMR for Halo 4? Like, if you had to choose which one you would rather use in the game.
The first one I'm going to use is the BR, just for nostalgia purposes. Like, I love that 3-round burst. Really.
All right. What about you, Fumo? He's still having mic issues, apparently.
Yeah. Like, I just didn't like
just switch back to your desktop mic if you need to. Mike.
I like the rhythm of the 3-round burst, You get it going, you don't have to keep pounding on the trigger. It's just like...
Yeah.
Back in the BXR days, you had to keep pounding on the trigger, but I never got the BXR down.
I got it down like in Halo 2 Vista.
Or double shot. Never got that down. I was able to do it a few times, but like, it wasn't a regular thing for me.
Yeah, so there is the option to have the 2 primary weapons, so I think I'll do that. Although, if the plasma pistol is one of those secondary weapons that you can use,
Test 1 2 3.
Hey, you're back.
Back.
Then I could see people using the noob combo.
Yeah.
So
I was gonna say with the BR, I really think that's gonna be an improvement as far as like it's a better weapon than the DMR. The reason being is that like you can like swipe across someone. I'm not talking about like swipe sniping kind of thing like in Halo 2 back in the day. But I'm talking about like you can increase your chances of hitting someone by swiping in any direction as long as you cross someone, because you kind of have, it's like swiping a blade
magnetic
of
effect.
bullets across. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Aim assist for the win.
But there's more of a chance of hitting with at least one bullet. If you're moving when you're firing. So.
All right.
But at the same time, that puts you at a disadvantage because if someone's good and they don't have to swipe, then they don't miss those first 2 shots or whatever,
Right.
They've got the one up on you. That was how the BR worked in Halo 2.
Well, it's a lot more prevalent if you just have the BR. Now, with the DMR, I personally like the DMR because it's the single shot. Because for the BR, if you miss one of those bullets, then you're having to account for that on subsequent shots.
True.
Oh yeah.
Or with the DMR, you know how many you've missed if you've missed, and usually if it's just the one shot like that, it's easier to make sure you hit all your shots.
That does make sense.
I think it that way.
And you can get the advantage by timing your shots right with the reticle size.
Yeah. That was what I had trouble with at the very beginning when I was playing Reach. I didn't know how to get that that rhythm down with the DMR. Like, what's the proper time to keep shooting,
Yeah,
and it always felt like they were always killing me first. Like they were shooting faster than me, but they were killing me, and it was...
Yeah.
Aren't they supposed to be, not killing me if they're shooting fast?
Right. Like, shouldn't your bullet be, like, whizzing past my ear or something?
Well, you can credit that to Bloom. So,
Bloom?
Yeah,
Bloom.
Bloom.
Explain.
With the Bloom...
Reticle Bloom.
Yeah, with the reticle Bloom in Halo Reach?
Yeah. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, though. Like, shouldn't it be, if you're firing faster, then the reticle bloom actually get larger, and therefore you miss some of your shots?
Well, yeah, but there's still the chance that you can hit every one if you spam the trigger. That's what I'm...
It's like random. It's like your chance decreases as the bloom goes up.
But there's
you
still the
have
possibility.
A chance. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. It's like spinning a slot machine with, decreasing odds every time, but you still have a chance.
Yeah.
With the BR, there was no chance to it,
It's just a spread. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was basically like a fixed bloom, so to speak. It was very narrow.
Yeah. I suppose a range issue, kind of, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
Well, supposedly in Halo 4, the DMR is going to be like awesome at, long range, and the BR is going to suck like at any range other than medium or short.
Yeah, so BR is supposed to be medium to short range, and DMR is supposed to be medium to long range.
Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting.
I think that is partly because of the BR spread. It's just out of that 3-shot burst, you're going to not necessarily hit every shot.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have to see.
Well, I'm more of a mid-range player anyway. Like, I never like playing at long range.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm shooting you from long range, you know where I'm at, so
yeah,
I like to keep myself, kind of stealthy.
It's easier to aim at mid-range, too.
Like being a sneaky beaver.
Oh, boy.
I always sucked at sniping, too, so...
So what are your guys' thoughts on the changes that they've made to Halo 4 so far? So I'm not exactly sure how or what you guys have paid attention to in terms of new Halo 4 stuff, but from what you've heard, what are your impressions of the... Well, let's start with the campaign stuff.
Yeah.
So we had the E3 campaign demo. So what do you guys think about the story continuing on with what they showed?
I mean, it seems all pretty basic so far. I don't know. I guess I'd have to play the game to really get a better understanding of it, just in the sense of like how it's, it's really how good it really is. You know what I mean? Because they kind of gave like a framework of the story, and it was cool and all. Not good, not bad necessarily yet. I'm kind of withholding judgment. You know what I mean?
All right. What about you, Brent?
As far as the story goes, like, just gonna have to wait. I'm with Boo. Like, I just...
No initial thoughts or anything?
I kind of want to know what the Covenant are doing. Like, why are they still around? Why are they still fighting me?
Yeah.
Didn't I kill enough of those guys?
I have a feeling it's like a faction that's left over.
Yeah, it's like space pirates.
I have a feeling there's gonna... Well, I'm hoping to see some kind of subplot with the Covenant. Like, I know the main plot is going to be the Chief is on Requiem, and there's the whole plot with the Promethean enemies and the Forerunners, but I'm hoping that there's an interesting little subplot with the Covenant, and that we maybe in Halo 5 we'll get to see some of the, what I'm assuming is some kind of civil war within the Covenant. Like, I would like to see a Halo 2 campaign style where you play as someone on the Covenant side again. I would like to be able to play as in the leading campaign again.
I hope there's a twist in Halo 4 where you start have to fight humanity. Like you have to fight against your own dudes. Like for some, like the big twist in the original Halo,
Right, so
turns out that Halo's a weapon. Like all of a sudden you have to turn around and start shooting Marines. That'd be messed up because you could do that in Halo 2 and Sergeant Johnson get mad and start killing you.
So, I mean, you guys have read at least some of the first books, right?
I haven't read any of the books.
You haven't read any of the books?
I started to read one time, and I just couldn't get into it. It was a little too comic book style for me.
Too much jargon.
No, it was just over the top with.
Which book
Master
were you
Chief.
reading?
I think it was gosh.
Because if it was the Flood, then yeah.
I really can't even remember, but it was
Fall of Reach.
I think it was Fall of Reach. It was where right away there was this big action scene and Master Chief was in there with a couple of other Spartans and they were going up against a bunch of grunts and stuff, and there was basically just they just basically kill everyone and then walk away with an explosion and stuff like that, and it just seemed very campy to me. I don't know.
Yeah, they're kind of campy.
Yeah.
I personally enjoy them. I'm actually either tonight or tomorrow. I'm going to be finishing First Strike.
Sweet.
And then I'll be going on to Ghost of Onyx. My plan is to read all the books before Halo 4 comes out.
Cool.
So that's the plan. I'm not sure if I'll be able to hit it though. I'm still hoping to though. I have a little more than 3 months to get it done.
Cool.
That leaves me to 2 books a month though, which is a lot of reading for me.
Yeah. So what were we saying though about between the books and the story and stuff like that?
I don't
I'm
remember. I don't remember. So the subplot between the Covenant and the humans. I want to see something kind of develop on that on the side during the campaign.
Yeah, what did Johnson do with that elite at the end of Halo 1? Legendary ending.
I'm personally
really
of the
going
opinion that's just an Easter egg. I don't see it as canon personally.
I think they should write it into canon somehow. You can do it. Retcon is a powerful thing.
In the books though, they had Johnson in a completely different area.
That's what I'm saying. Retcon doesn't matter. You can retcon things. Look at Halo Reach.
Yeah,
as far as what it did to the story of the Fall of Reach.
Yeah.
Just there's little teeny differences.
I personally, and yes, I know the games are supposed to be more canonical than the books, but I'm personally of the opinion that the books are right. The game is not.
The books came first, therefore they are right.
That is my stance. So, I don't know.
So what do you think about the story so far, Dustin?
For the most part, the presentation was good. I'm interested to see what they're going to do with the whole Forerunner and the Promethean things, and the enemies that we saw are AI, and I haven't read any of the Forerunner trilogy, so a lot of people are probably yelling at me right now that I don't know enough. But as from what I've heard, that possibly the Librarian, the Didact, and Mendicant Bias are still around somehow. Having those interactions in game is going to be interesting. I'm not sure what to expect for them yet. I'm kind of holding my tongue on that one because I haven't read the books, so I don't want to jump to any conclusions yet. But in terms of the Human and the Covenant, they need some kind of backstory behind it to make it fit. So I'm hoping they do that well. And having the story with the Prometheans, I have a feeling that's pretty much nailed down because that's their new enemy and they've spent a lot of time on it. But the Human Covenant relationship, they need to really nail down.
Mm-hmm.
That's my opinion. So what do you guys think about having Spartan Ops basically kind of like the second campaign and replacing Firefight?
Love it.
Love it?
Love it.
That's good.
I think it's really cool that they're incorporating like story elements and cutscenes and things like that within there. So it really feels like a co-op campaign that you continue on every week. I just think it's a fantastic idea. I know it's going to take a lot of work for them, and it's going to be basically like an ongoing game that they continue to develop. But I just think it's a really great idea that is a really cool feature to add. I mean, that's going to be probably the main thing I play, really.
All right. Do you have anything to add to that, Brent?
Yes, I do. I think the customization features in Halo 4 may well ruin multiplayer, but at least I'll be able to use them in Spartan Ops and feel like an awesome person.
So what do you mean
like
the customizations?
You earn the weapons and stuff, right, as you're playing in multiplayer.
Yeah, I don't
and
quite
you
get
level,
that.
Like you earn obviously the armor pieces, and they haven't revealed everything about it yet. I haven't been keeping up with Halo 4 news since like E3, so I don't know what they've revealed since then. But from your Spartan is supposed to be part of this cohesive experience, where you're on the Infinity, right? So Spartan Ops ties into the multiplayer experience because as you're leveling up your multiplayer Spartan, that's the same Spartan you use for Spartan Ops. So
right.
Everything I do in multiplayer, everything I earn from playing that, I can also take into Spartan Ops. And then while I'm playing Spartan Ops, any of the points or whatever currency they're using there, I can also use that in multiplayer.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad that my multiplayer experience, gaining all of these upgrades and weapons and things, I'll be able to use them in something other than multiplayer. Like I could take them into Spartan Ops, and like if you're playing with other people, obviously it's a multiplayer experience. So like you could the better weapons you have, the more effective you'll be in combat. Assuming that the other person, do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like leveling up in an RPG. You always want the better weapons.
Right. But I'm wondering what weapons they're going to lock first. And
yeah,
it might be weapons they haven't announced yet.
Well, they're also you'll unlock weapon skins and things, so that'll probably be a big part of it.
Is it just me, or are the armor skins that we've seen so far just really weird and out there?
Yes, they're weird and out there.
Yeah.
They're really bizarre.
It's almost like, what are they thinking?
Yeah,
I mean,
they were weird in the previous Halo games when there were different armor variations. They were weird, but they were cool. And these ones are just weird, and they're like not cool.
Right. When I don't know, this kind of rubs me a little bit the wrong way, and it probably shouldn't that much. But the Spartan Force just look not as threatening or as massive as the Chief is.
Well, I don't think they're supposed to.
I mean, they look very slim, thin, and can probably get pushed around a lot easier than the Chief can.
I think that's kind of the point. Like, they perfected the Spartan program, but obviously the only Spartans that could survive the initial, augmentation
Gene
process.
therapy. Yeah.
Right. They were, the best of humanity. Like, the best, natural-born genetics, the best physical and mental state,
Yeah.
They were just the best.
And that was the Spartan 2s, yeah.
And with the Spartan, what are they, 4s?
4s, yeah. They kind of dialed back on the...
Well, the point is that they've perfected the process, people don't die from augmentation anymore, so they can bring in people who are less physically
But they're probably
imposing.
They're probably not as good as the Chief is, though.
Yeah, obviously, that's the point. The Chief is supposed to be like the ultimate Spartan. He is the King Spartan. He survived encounters that other Spartans in his unit couldn't survive. He basically won the Human Covenant War by himself.
Mm-hmm.
Humanity was on their last limb. They were going to lose if not for the actions of the Master Chief.
Yeah.
So obviously, no Spartan that's going to come after him is going to be better than the Chief. That's the point. He was supposed to be like the hero. He's the big bad.
Right. So Frankie did mention this, and this is more leaning towards the books, Fumo, but they are going to reference the other Spartan 2s in the games. I don't think they're necessarily doing it for Halo 4, but I think in Halo 5 and Halo 6 they're going to drop some hints onto what the other Spartans are doing. So, in terms of people who just play the games and not read the books, and I guess this would be a case for Fumo, are you guys kind of okay with that? Do you think that story should be left to the books alone, or?
It gets to a point sometimes where if you diversify too much in one story, then it reduces the effect of each element. Like, for instance, if you have like one story that consists of like 10 different stories that interweave and then connect at the end, it makes it, unless you do something really good, it makes it hard to identify with each of the different characters. So, I mean, limiting the number of points of view is probably a good idea in general.
All right. What about you, Brent?
Yeah, it's kind of like with the Star Wars extended universe. Like, I don't care about all those other points of view. I don't care about all of these other things that are going on, because the more I know about the universe, like it tends to affect what I originally thought about the universe. And I mean, that's the point. But you play through something, you enjoy a franchise thinking it's one thing, and then the more you learn about it, it becomes another completely, so.
Midichlorians.
Yeah, like Mass Effect did a pretty good job with that, actually. Like it was an expansive universe, but at the same time, like they didn't just overload you with information. They gave you little tidbits of fun information throughout the entire series. So.
Okay.
I mean, that's part of the fun of the next Mass Effect game. I mean, back when you were playing like Mass Effect 1, like, what new can I learn about the Asari or the Hanar or, the Elcor, just...
Yeah, I didn't have time to actually go through and read any of the codex. Like, I was playing through that game fast.
Well, the thing is,
if you Mass Effect 1, it was really enjoyable. I mean, they went through a lot of time and effort into fleshing out the whole technology behind everything. It was fascinating.
Mm-hmm. Screw the Elusive Man, though.
Tim.
He pissed me off. No, the Elusive Man.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
Tim.
yeah, Tim.
That's what they call him in the Mass Effect community, Tim, because Tim, the Elusive Man. Yeah, that's funny. I call him Tim all the time now, because now I can't think of him as anybody other than Tim.
That makes more sense now. I didn't know what that really stood for, but okay. Yeah. That makes sense now.
Those who call me
Tim? Oh, boy. One more thing I want to address before we go to chat questions is, what do you guys think about Forward Unto Dawn? Kind of having this almost Halo movie-esque production going on to lead up to Halo 4.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say. I mean, I don't know much about it,
No speculations on or things that you are looking to get out of Forward Unto Dawn that you might be interested in?
I don't really even know what to speculate on at this point, because I mean, I saw the trailer, which was, I'm talking about the whole sequence where they had the guy that was going through Spartan training and the appearance of Master Chief and everything. I don't know if that was a trailer for Forward Unto Dawn or if it was a trailer for Halo 4. But in any case, that was I'm sure something to expect from Forward Unto Dawn, and it was really great. Looking forward to the whole series. I mean, wish it turned into a movie in some ways, but in some ways it's probably better that it becomes like a online miniseries kind of thing. It's more for the fans and not to try to appeal to new audiences and stuff like that. So should be good.
Do you think that people who normally just play the game for multiplayer, you think they'll probably stay away from it? Because I think it's not going to be that appealing to those people.
I think they will stay away from it, but like my stepson, he doesn't play Halo anymore, but when he did, he has never played a Halo campaign, but he's never even opened it, but he's always, he got into, I think at least Halo 2 and 3, he got into a lot of Halo 2. He's never played any of the Call of Duty campaigns, but he plays multiplayer like crazy. But yeah, I mean, he doesn't really care about any of that stuff. He just wants to play the competitive multiplayer. So,
all right.
From that sense, I just think he's probably like a lot of people out there that play multiplayer that just aren't even interested in single player at all.
Yeah, it seems like I would almost say, I don't know, maybe half of the Halo audience is really somewhat interested in the campaign, and then there's the other side that's just strictly multiplayer, doesn't care.
Sounds right to me.
So it's yeah. I'm personally looking forward to it. A lot of the Halo fiction stuff is really interesting to me, which is kind of funny seeing that I've only read through the first 3 books. But the Halo universe is just, I think that's one of the reasons why it's such a successful franchise, is because you have a lot of people on Call of Duty simply for the multiplayer. It's in my opinion, it's just not that great compared to Halo's multiplayer. But beside that, I think Halo has one of the most complex and interesting universes behind it.
And it's got a great community behind it too, and that's what really matters.
It has a good amount of communities, like in massive plural.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, I'm just saying as a whole, like, yeah.
I mean, Call of Duty, the only communities I can really think of are multiplayer clans. There's not much of a campaign or a story-driven community for Call of Duty that you hear of.
Well, I mean, to be fair though, sci-fi stories lend themselves better to fandom than modern military shooters.
Yeah.
Because, I mean...
Yeah, but
What?
Fumo is Robo.
Oh, no, not again. Dang it.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Hey. Okay, there we go. There you go. Yeah, that's true, but I think Halo also has kind of this real-life feeling, because it's not too far out in the future. It's believable. So I think that's one of the reasons why it connects well with people.
Which story?
The Halo universe.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, it's still like, FTL drives and plasma shields and,
I mean, 500 years out.
Plasma shield.
Yeah, some kind of shielding technology.
But I'm saying that, 500 years out is still a long time. Like, if I went back 500 years, I mean
just look at how much computers have evolved over the past 10.
Right.
Or 20.
Yeah.
So technology is gonna skyrocket.
But, I mean, that's what I'm saying though, is that sci-fi franchises. I mean, you can speculate, and it doesn't matter. You don't have to be grounded in the modern era. Like with Call of Duty, if all of a sudden there were spaceships flying in, then the Covenant, would start attacking a nuclear facility.
Right.
While, stuff's exploding in the background and like, USA, hell yeah! Like, I mean, like, that would be kind of weird. But you can do that stuff in Halo. You can have just weird stuff appear, I mean, and just, write it into... That's the point. It's fun because they can add new, interesting things all the time, I mean, like, the idea of the Promethean. Like, you just add that in, like, whatever. Like, you don't have to even, like... well, I mean, they obviously do have to write a backstory to it, but the Promethean probably wasn't even a major idea that they thought about when they came up with the original Halo trilogy.
Right.
I mean, maybe with Halo 3, they were starting to write that stuff up, and it might have been like a little, side note in the Halo story Bible somewhere, but...
Yeah, and then Bungie signed off.
Yeah.
I mean, well, so for the first trilogy, the focus was mainly on the Forerunners, not the Prometheans. Although Promethean is kind of Forerunner anyways, so like, I take that back. But it was more along the lines of just this ancient civilization that came before everyone else. So, all right, taking some chat questions, and we have some codes to give away, guys, for everyone that's attending live. So, we have, I'll be giving away one of the new Mongoose props. So that's there's that. And we also have some red and blue avatar helmets to give away. So, courtesy of Jess for our 300th anniversary. So, okay, so the first question was from, hang on, where was it? Okay, from Devin Nadon. I'm hoping I'm saying that right. He says, are you guys interested most in the campaign, multiplayer, or Spartan Ops?
Multiplayer.
Multiplayer?
Spartan Ops.
I mean, I don't know if I can pick one.
I mean, I'm just being like realistic here. I'm excited for Spartan Ops. I'm excited to play through the storyline of Halo 4, but eventually those are going to run their course. I'm going to get bored of them, and then I'm just going to be playing multiplayer. Because I can never get tired of Halo multiplayer.
Well,
I mean, at least for a few hundred hours.
Well, I mean, for Spartan Ops, you're going to get 10 weeks of content, and who's to say, or who's not to say, that one of the DLCs might be a new version of Spartan Ops. So maybe in a year or a year and a half, we get another 8 gig download that's a new Spartan Ops storyline that might lead up to Halo 5.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm excited for that, but it's going to run its course. Like you play the episode for that week, and then you might. I mean, it's just over. Like you got the story from it. You can play it again. It's going to be the same experience again and again. But with multiplayer, I know that I'm going to continue playing that for a long time. Once it's out, I'm going to keep playing match after match after match. And it's going to be a different experience every time because it's a multiplayer experience,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, think about it. Here's a question.
Well, so that sorry to interrupt, but that makes a good point for Firefight and Reach. Firefight and ODST was really good, but that's kind of attributed to the fact that it was the only multiplayer option in ODST. But Firefight and Reach just kind of dropped off of nowhere.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. At the end of the day, did you play more Firefight or multiplayer in
Multiplayer.
Reach? Obviously.
I mean, the only reason you play Firefight now, really, except for the few people that purely enjoy Firefight out of the rest of the modes, is for credits.
Yeah.
And commendations.
That's all I played Gruntpocalypse for. I mean, it was fun popping grunts in the head again and again and again and again, but I was doing it to get commendations and credits.
Right.
But I still played more multiplayer than I did Firefight. Firefight is fun, and that's what I'm saying. I think that Spartan Ops is going to be a lot like Firefight, just with added story. Maybe added objectives and things, but...
Well, Firefight is probably going to be one of those modes that is in Spartan Ops. And they've pretty much said that anyways.
Yeah.
So... I don't know if I can pick a favorite, though. I would say it's between campaign and multiplayer. But I mean, you make a good point. Multiplayer can be played a lot. So I know they have that right, but I'm really interested in the fiction as well. So I'm gonna go with evening it out, and I'm gonna say campaign. So I'll say campaign. Brent says multiplayer, and then Fumo says Spartan Ops.
All right.
And everybody agreed with Brent. No, I'm just...
Oh, I think a lot of people in the chat said multiplayer in response to the question. So
I'm excited for all three, really. I'm just saying that at the end of the day, I will probably end up logging in more hours to multiplayer than
I think Halo 4 is going to
Spartan.
be a lot more successful than Reach was. I mean, Reach was kind of like Bungie's farewell, so I don't think it was as widely accepted as it could have been. So if Halo 3 were released at the same time Reach was, having the same amount of gamers like in the pool for buying games and stuff, I think Halo 3 would be more successful than Reach.
Will Halo 4 be more successful than Reach?
I think so. I think with how
I know.
people have responded to the press demonstrations, like what we've seen from E3 and Comic-Con, that a lot more people are going to be ready for Halo 4. So the Waypoint forums, there's usually a lot of like haterade going on over there, like people just complaining about stuff that's in Halo 4. And I'm friends with some of the moderators over there, and apparently after the E3 stuff and the stuff that got shown at Rooster Teeth and Comic-Con, a lot of that complaining died down. So I think a lot of people are really excited to see what Halo 4 is going to bring out, and I think 343i is going to have a good, solid first game.
Yeah,
So.
I think so. Next question.
Next question from Funny Boy. He says, what do you guys think Bungie is up to?
MMO.
Well, definitely. There was
Isn't that what it's called? Or no, maybe that was I think Titan is Blizzard's next MMO. Never mind.
The code name for the project is for Bungie's thing is Destiny, right?
Yeah, Destiny. Yeah.
And it's supposed to be multi-platform MMO, and there was the details that got leaked out from the Activision? What's the thing going on with Activision right now? There's some lawsuit. I forget.
Yeah, all that money they're making, but they don't care about the lawsuit because they'll just settle out of court probably anyway.
Right. So they had to release documents, and they had Bungie's whole plan for releasing games and what kind of games they were, which is unfortunate.
After Activision, completely screwed the Infinity Ward guys out of their bonuses. After Infinity Ward put out the highest grossing game of all time, I don't expect. I mean, Activision could do anything.
Yeah.
There's no telling what they'll do. That's why I'm scared for Bungie. Like, I know that they don't have full creative control over Bungie's next project, and Bungie isn't owned by Activision. I'm hoping
that what happened with Activision, that it doesn't come to bite them in the butt later.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, Infinity Ward thought that they were in a good situation too. They thought that they were in a good relationship with Activision. They were making them all that money with Modern Warfare, and then you put out the highest grossing game of all time at the time. It was Modern Warfare 2, and then it wasn't. That total didn't get beat out until Modern Warfare 3 came. So I mean, I don't know. I don't know how you can deprive those guys of their bonuses after they just put out
that kind of game.
The money maker,
Yeah.
Like, you really couldn't have used some of that, profit you made, and
it's like these publishers make so much money.
That's what I'm saying. Activision's the worst, though, in my opinion, as far as publishing, but they have
EA
control.
too.
I mean, you can make the game, but if you can't put it on a disc, well, you can't sell it. I mean, not nowadays, but I mean, nowadays you can digitally publish, and that's helped a lot of indie studios out. But
right,
with a big game like Halo, you want to put it on a disc, you want to have it in the brick and mortar stores. I can't wait until all that stuff is. I mean, there's something to be said about having a physical copy of games, and like, I'll miss having physical copies of games, but eventually it's going to get to the point where it's all digital, I think. I mean, 10, 20 years maybe.
What'd you say, Fumo?
That's what I'm saying. On Live, don't have to worry about all that stuff.
Yeah.
I still play plenty of On Live. Unfortunately, the releases have kind of died down lately. I haven't gotten as much first-party support as they used to. But they are still coming out with, a couple of good games coming up. Darksiders 2, Ubisoft gives them a lot of support, Square Enix, stuff like that. So certain publishers, or certain developers, I suppose, have a good relationship with them, but others just haven't caught on. But, dude, it's just awesome. I mean, their technology's come a long way. Even when I first played it, it was good, but I mean, it's come a long way to where it's even a lot better now. And you can do all kinds of crazy stuff with it. It's virtually lag-free and not a lot of glitches and stuff like that. It plays like you have a console right in front of you, and I can play games on my computer that there's no way my computer can handle. So
yeah, that still baffles me though, because just like in my mind, network latency, it does not compute.
I know, I hear that a lot though. Like, people just say, I don't understand, but it's like, but it does work. I know you don't understand it, but it works. It's like,
am I living in the future? Like, what? Oh,
well, I mean, being a computer science person, it just doesn't make sense. Yeah. Like, what kind of networking magic are they doing to make it work?
I know, huh? It's some kind of proprietary system that really.
I mean, do they have a deal with the ISPs to deliver that content at the highest or the lowest latency possible? I mean,
they sacrifice a chicken at the altar. Their servers.
I don't know how they do their voodoo, but whatever it is, it comes out pretty darn high quality. I still play, like, I'm working on Assassin's Creed Brotherhood through there. And I've beaten a ton of games on there, all kinds of stuff, Metro 2033, Assassin's Creed 2, bunch of stuff, Homefront, all kinds of things. But
As long as it works.
It works. It works great. I mean, they even have like what do you call it? Amnesia? That game was like the only thing I didn't like about that game is they didn't have controller support. So with OnLive, they released it with keyboard support only, and OnLive is very much like every system comes, like if you buy a system, it comes with a controller. So a lot of games that are just like really optimized for OnLive are going to have controller support. So eventually, they actually patched in controller support for Amnesia. So I'm actually playing that game more now. It's a lot of fun.
All right.
But a lot of games I couldn't otherwise play that I can now, and it ends up being a lot cheaper, a lot more flexible. You don't even have to worry about like cloud syncing or anything like that because it's all saved in the cloud in the first place. So it's not just cloud syncing; it syncs not just your save games, but your entire game altogether. So you don't have to download it anywhere. There's no storage to worry about. There's all you have to worry about is bandwidth. So.
Right.
I don't have very good bandwidth, but like you've heard with my robot voices, but for some reason it still works out pretty well.
All right.
Dude, if you guys haven't checked it out, I know I don't like work for OnLive or anything, but if you haven't OnLive.com, you get like free demos for a ton of games for like 30 minutes a piece of the full game. So you can play the entire game for 30 minutes, and then you can turn around and play it again. You just lose all your stuff from the previous game play. But I mean, you could do whatever you want with that, and it plays on pretty much anything, pretty much any computer, including like netbooks and stuff. It has all kinds of flexibility where it can run on a separate online game console that some people buy, or they get deals and stuff, which is like super small. It's like the size of a pack of cigarettes, and it comes with their own proprietary wireless controller that actually has a wireless protocol that helps eliminate lag more. I don't use that. I use an Xbox 360 controller with the wireless dongle on my laptop, and that works fantastic as well. It just makes it to work what I'm used to. And when it comes down to it, I'm looking at a screen. It's high def. I got a 360 controller in my hand.
I love the 360 controller.
I have a friends list. I can play multiplayer with people. I can even spectate what my friends are playing at any given time, and talk to them at the same time. So I don't know. There's definitely something to say for that. Unfortunately, it hasn't gone on to the level I would, that the online gamers would like. But I just think it's a really great system. I think it eliminates a lot of the problems with Xbox Live. The multiplayer is always free. You buy a game once and the license for a game once, and you can play it as long as you want. So there's no ongoing fees. There's no there's just the usual stuff with DLC and stuff like that. But that just goes to the gaming studios. But so that's definitely a plus. They do have a separate thing for people that want a subscription plan. Like they just want to pay one price and they get a whole bunch of games and games regularly and stuff. So they have this thing called Play Pass, which I forget how much it is, $15 or $20 or something a month. But they're adding games like every week or two to that, and they have like a couple hundred games on it. I don't even know how many, but ridiculous amount of games. So yeah, some people are into that.
Yeah, I just read it. It's $9.99 a month.
Oh, okay. So and also you get like
Xbox is still cheaper.
Well, yeah, but
you get the games.
Completely different. Yeah, you get.
So are all the games free
for that?
Well, I mean, you get to play the games as long as you keep your subscription. You get to play all of I think it's all of their games. It's called the Play Pack. I'm looking it up right now. After Foo started talking about it, I got interested in OnLive. I'm like, how much are they paying this man?
I know. I swear they're not paying.
But yeah, it's the Play Pack. It says all you can play, just $9.99 a month. Over 200 great indie and blockbuster games. Play on demand on PC, Mac, TV, and tablet, and cancel anytime. So they've got like Homefront, The Witcher, Civilization 5, Borderlands, Saints Row 2, NBA 2K11, Batman Arkham Asylum,
Borderlands, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, just cool stuff.
They actually just Alien vs. Predator, all kinds of stuff. They actually just recently added Civilization 5. One thing about it though too is I actually got it because I was buying a lot of online games at the time. And they have like a 30% discount, I think, on any purchases that, like software purchases that you make on online when you when you are a Play Pass member as well. So, like, for instance, if you're planning on buying a game that's like 40, $50 or something, and then you apply, you get that just to apply the 30% discount, it might even be a wash on how much you actually save and getting at least a free month of online for that. So that's the way I looked at it when I got it. I ended up, canceling subscription because I just wasn't using it that much. But that's definitely something to keep in mind too, is that the games that you play with the subscription, if you stop your subscription, you can't, you lose all the progress you made in all those games. But originally that's all they had was the play pack, and people didn't like it because of that. That was the big problem. So now the play pack is all optional, and you could just buy games outright, and they have sales all the time. Like most of my games I've only bought for like $1 or $2. Like Alien vs. Predator, Splinter Cell, Conviction, all kinds of stuff like that. What do you call it? Trine I got for free as a pack for one of the Humble Indie bundles. Speaking of which, if you guys ever bought the one with Trine in it, it comes with the OnLive Play Pass for that for free. So there's another one I think that has Osmos as well, which is a OnLive Pass. So you guys might want to pull up your emails on that and check those out. But even if you don't have those, there's the free 30-minute trials for like a ton of most games. So it's definitely good.
So what's the game library compared to like a lot of the modern games that you would get on the PS3 or the Xbox? Like a lot of the modern stuff up there, like Call of Duty, Medal of Honor, that kind of stuff?
Unfortunately, they don't have Call of Duty or Medal of Honor. EA doesn't really support them. They used to, but they ended up, I think they kind of got hoodwinked into supporting Gaikai instead, which was a competitor for a while. But they're really all talk, and they ended up not releasing any retail games. You couldn't like buy a game on Gaikai and play it. All you could do was play a demo. And EA worked with them and had like streaming demos for different games, including Mass Effect and stuff like that. But originally, there were EA games on OnLive when OnLive was still in beta, but apparently some kind of Gaikai kind of talked them into going with them instead, even though they never really turned into the same system at all. And they ended up, Gaikai got bought out by Sony, and now who knows what the status is on it, but that was just recently. But it's kind of a bummer because we miss out on the Call of Duties and Battlefields and stuff like that. But so as far as shooters go right now, the biggest game, unfortunately, is still Homefront. I don't know if you guys played that one, but it's definitely no Call of Duty or anything. It has like a lot of the same features as Call of Duty, but the interface is kind of a mess. It's the controls are a little, I don't know, they're a little sketchy in my opinion, but it still does have like a lot of competition. But they were, if for people that are like way into shooters, it is a little bit of a bummer because like they were talking about coming out with what was it, Red, the Heroes of Stalingrad, Red, I can't remember what it was. There was a indie kind of indie World War II shooter that they were going to come out with that was like highly anticipated, but it never came out. There's one that's coming out soon. That's a modern game. I can't remember the name of that one either. Sorry, but that one's supposed to be like, I think that's probably going to be kind of the replacement for Homefront. But they do have a lot of other games besides just like multiplayer shooters that are really good. Like I talked about, I'm just thinking off the top of my head, like the whole Assassin's Creed series, including Revelations. Let's see, Splinter Cell Conviction, Alien vs. Predator, Amnesia. A lot of indie games, stuff like And Yet It Moves and Space Cam and all kinds of things like that are on there, as well as a bunch of like classic PC games, like let me see, Titan's Quest, a couple of things like that. Borderlands is on there, and Borderlands 2 is coming to OnLive as well. So Darksiders, I don't know. I'm just pulling some off the top of my head, but you can look through the whole library that they have on OnLive.com and just see what you guys think. But,
Yeah, I saw Deus Ex Human Revolution on there. You're selling that.
Yeah, I played through
that's a pretty new game.
I played through that whole game on there. They also have the DLC as well, so it's cool. You know, you can actually you can spectate other people playing as well, which is kind of fun. Like once in a while, when you want to get an idea of like what a game is like, then you could just go through the spectating view there, and you could just find someone playing that game and kind of watch it for a while, and just see how it is. So it's kind of neat being able to do that. Yeah, that was a great game though, and it was good on online as well. So.
Yeah.
It is kind of a bummer about the multiplayer first-person shooters though. It's like that's a nut they still have yet to crack.
So our next question comes from Sam Winks, and why am I echoing?
I hear it too.
Got it. Okay. So the next question comes from Sam Winks, and he says, what are you most disappointed about Halo 4? So I don't know if we're really ready to make an assumption for it, or... I mean, is there something that has been announced so far that you guys don't particularly like, I guess?
Well, Brent,
yeah,
like
Fire Dragon says the release date, lol.
Yeah. Well, Brent, you didn't like the whole multiplayer going more, giving you actual advantages at the beginning of the game, right?
Well, yeah, but I still don't know how that's going to turn out. Like, I mean, I can be disappointed about it, but I'm still saving. I don't know. I hope that it's the same multiplayer I've been playing since 2004, but I don't know. I'm not really disappointed as much as I'm just afraid. I'm afraid that it's going to change things up too much. It's going to veer too far from the Halo formula.
What about you, Fumo? I'm still trying to think of mine.
I don't know that I really have any disappointments necessarily. I don't think there's enough information to be disappointed about. There's an overview kind of on a little bit of the story. There's some various different, like, basically graphics demos and gameplay shots and stuff. But
the thing I'm most disappointed about is I haven't had a chance to play it yet.
Yeah.
I could have gone to RTX, but I didn't.
It's not on live.
I don't think it's ever going to be on live.
Yeah, not likely.
So, yeah, but for the most part, it looks really good, and I don't think we can really make an assessment on that until the game comes out. So, okay, so the next question comes from E103 Beta 1, and he says, what do you guys think about the visual style of the characters? So, the character design for the Covenant, the Prometheans, that kind of stuff.
I haven't looked through a whole lot of the character design for the Covenant as it compares to the rest of Halo, but the Prometheans look really interesting and yet confusing on why, for instance, the whole opening the mouth and having the skull there. I don't really get that. I don't understand how that was.
Like, why is Ghost Rider trying to kill me?
Yeah.
I suppose they'll expound on that as time goes on.
I think they will. Yeah.
Same thing. I don't understand how AI has a physical manifestation in the sense of beyond just visual, but also actual physical manifestation. At that point, it becomes like an android, as far as I'm concerned. But
yeah,
we'll see.
Well, the Covenant look a lot more gritty and a lot more fearful. Like, it actually looks. The grunts don't look like this cute little thing that you can go hug or blow up, that kind of thing. They actually look mean and dangerous. So I'm not sure how people are going to react to that, because grunts have always been kind of one of those comical enemies to play against, and now they're going to be super serious, grungy, kind of scary to fight. So, what about you, Brent?
I really don't think I've seen enough to make a real good, I don't know, assumption about the visual design. I mean, I like the level designs that I've seen so far from that the E3 demo they did, kind of foresty. It kind of reminded me of the Arrival on Halo 3.
Yeah.
That forest environment and stuff going on. Yeah, the Promethean are weird. Or is that what they're? That goes to show you how much I know. Yeah, they're
yes, it's Promethean,
the robot thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Not Prothean, not Promethean, but
Yeah,
Promethean.
so
yeah.
it looks like Halo, which is a good thing.
It
I
does
like
look like
it.
Halo.
Halo has its own special visual style, and back when Halo 3 came out, that was kind of a big deal. Everybody was like, "This just looks like Halo 2. Like, this is awful. So much for the next generation of gameplay,
I personally like seeing the rainforest stuff that we got from the campaign demo. A lot of that stuff looked really, really nice. With how everything flowed and just the dynamic environments. It didn't look like there were many repeated like textures and stuff. Or not textures, but like models. It looked like everything was actually a digitized version of some real place. Not where like with a lot of the past Halo games you just have the trees that are just placed to make it look like they're naturally grown, but for the visuals and at least what it looks like for Halo 4, it looks like they've really done a good job of making it feel like a real environment. And the same thing goes with the dynamic environments that you have. So we have the snowy environment of Longbow, and then with the lava that we had in the first Spartan Ops gameplay that we've seen. And then you have the jungle. I think they're doing a really good job on environment as well.
Yeah. I don't think they're going to show very much, gameplay footage of Halo 4 until like maybe a week before it comes out.
Maybe a little bit earlier than that.
I think they just want to keep that hype train going, and the best way to do that is to keep people speculating. And then you want to get it going full stop, the week before, that's when you start bombarding people with info.
Right.
Like 2 weeks maybe.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're going to do an ARG thing like they've done for the past 3 Halo games.
Well, they did it for Halo 3. They did it for Halo 2. They didn't do one for ODST, right? Or Halo Reach.
I think they did one for ODST where like the superintendent was trying to contact people, but he couldn't or something. Like
before the game came out?
I think so. I don't know. Maybe.
Anyone in the chat? No?
I think it was like a Bungie forums thing, if I remember, but I might be wrong.
I don't recall anything like that, but that might just be me.
Yeah. I don't know. So, they had one for Halo Reach, didn't they?
I don't remember one for Halo Reach.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think so. They had all the live action trailers, but no ARG thing for Halo Reach.
Okay. Well, I don't know if they'll have one for Halo 4, but those were always kind of interesting. People speculating about what does this mean,
Yeah. Well, it was huge for Halo 3, and I've never gone through the I Love Bees things, and I've tried looking through some of it sometimes, and it still doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't make. Well, I guess if you analyze it long enough, it'll make sense. But just going back and looking about all the I Love Bees stuff, I was like, what? I mean, I really didn't understand any of it. Halo has had 2 ARGs, I Love Bees and Iris, according to Halo Wiki.
The Iris stuff for Halo 3, oh my goodness, that was intricate. I never got my package, though, for being one of the first 100 for the second one. Like, apparently, there are like some guidelines that you had to meet, and I didn't meet them, so I never got the package that got sent out for that.
Oh.
So I'm a little pissed on that.
Yeah.
I was number 89 of the first people that got there, and I never got that package, so I'm sad. So, this is the last call for questions in the chat, guys, because then I think we're gonna kind of wrap up here. But
get the old dusty trail.
So, what are you guys' thoughts on kind of the Halo games moving from here on out? So, taking Halo 4 into account and the rest of the Reclaimer trilogy. What do you guys expect 343 to do with the series? So, it's an open-ended question, so if you want to talk about campaign or multiplayer, like, what do you want to see, or what do you think they're going to do with the franchise now that it's in their hands?
Ask your Pokemon questions now. No.
Nothing?
Is this a question for us or a question for the people?
Well, yeah, for you guys, and if people want to answer in the chat, they can too, but yeah, it's for you guys.
Well, I am hoping that they go away from the whole Covenant thing. I've had enough of the Covenant when it comes down to it. The same enemies for, this whole time. Even if they've had like retoolings and stuff, it will be nice to go down a different road entirely and just have something new. It was great for a while. While it lasted, but I've had enough of like the whole concept, really.
So Fumo doesn't want any more Covenant.
Right.
Same here. But you're gonna get it whether you like it or not.
So
yes. So
is it that you don't want Covenant, or you don't want to be fighting the Covenant? Because Covenant just feels like an integral part of Halo now.
Yeah, it's like,
I mean, it's almost like you're ripping off all the limbs of Halo and you're just leaving the body, which it can still, the body and the head, which can still function, but...
well, they need to get new augmented arms and legs.
Yeah. I am a body with no arms and legs. I don't know, man. I mean, they've kind of grown, with Halo, and it's always been very much centered around the Covenant. However, if they go in a new direction with the Forerunners, and how many times has the Covenant been defeated? It's like getting to a point where it's like, every time you defeat us, we will rise from the grave and be stronger. It's like, oh, come on, it's going to be like that for every time the game's over. You feel like it's never really over anyway, But then again, I suppose that's the fatigue that any story suffers. You get to a point where you're like, oh yeah, the hero always wins, yeah. But I don't know. I still want it to. I still am tired of the Covenant and tired of them rehashing the same thing over and over with the Covenant. So I just hope they take it in a new direction each time, And it's even with limitations. It's a lot of times that's where creativity thrives. So I mean, finding new ways to make the Marines both comfortable in the sense of they're still the Space Marines and everything, but they have like a fresh take on vehicles and weapons. I know they can find ways to fit that both into the story and into the whole arsenal of equipment that you have and everything. So that, but just as far as the Covenant goes, man, I don't know. I've had enough.
Okay. I'm kind of the opposite of that. I would like to see kind of more of the backstory behind the Covenant, how their culture is developed around, like, worshipping the Forerunners and all. I think that'd be really interesting. I hear that you get that out of some of the books that have already come out, though.
Yeah.
Some of the Greg Bear novels, but I haven't gotten there yet, people, so I don't know that yet. Jackfire Dragon wants to know if Halo 6 will have a similar ending to Halo 3, where Master Chief has to sacrifice himself.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah,
yep.
I wouldn't either.
But he lives at the end so that he can return in Halo 7.
How long do you think they're going to keep the Halo franchise going?
As long as they can milk that cow.
I was afraid you were going to say that.
Until they can, until it's just not working anymore.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great universe, in my opinion. I hope it goes on. So, well,
it's the fatigue of age, though. I mean, as it goes along, like,
yeah, it's gonna be interesting trying to figure out how they're gonna keep content fresh and keep the story moving along, and kind of developing new characters and new situations, new enemies, new environments into the game. Because you can only do one thing for so long before you have to move on to something else.
Right. Still,
and what happens to 343 if they're done with Halo? Because 343 was specifically made by Microsoft to handle Halo.
Right.
You take that away, then you're taking what their main focus is. So what happens to them after that?
I don't think they'll have any trouble doing the second trilogy. I mean,
no,
I don't think they're going to go away before that by any means.
Do you think they'll do a third trilogy?
I don't know, man. I think that's pushing it, but it could be.
Trilogy.
Like Star Wars.
Yes.
The infamous third trilogy.
Get it? 343.
Someone's caught onto something here.
The rule of threes in video games.
Rule of threes.
Does ODST fit into that? Who knows?
Well, ODST is more like the add-on, but ODST had the best, or one of the better campaigns out of all the games so far, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It was really fun. Firefight, though, oh my gosh, unless you had a good connection, Firefight was a pain.
Yeah.
Eeh. All right.
Really fun to get all the achievements though on ODST.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thank you guys for those of you in the live stream. Thank you for coming out and listening to us, asking us questions, all that good stuff. Thank you, Brent and Fumo, for being the only two that were able to be on the show. Hopefully we can get some of the other guys on to kind of do some backfiller shows, kind of just catch up with them. But this was something special, so I was hoping to have more people here, but unfortunately, with everyone's schedules and just with how different and everyone has, or with all the different stuff that everyone has going on, just it didn't turn out as well. But I think we covered some good ground with Halo 4 and kind of going back and catching up with you guys. So in 3 years' time, again, we will probably see Fumo back, and we'll probably see Brent back within the next few months.
I hope so. I brought my B game today, so
you did
impressed.
well. We got you to talk. I mean, there's podcasts where you don't talk much, and then there's podcasts where you talk quite a bit, and it's the podcasts where you talk quite a bit, which are the good podcasts, in my opinion.
Let me explain myself with that. Like, the podcasts that I didn't speak were generally the podcasts with important guests on. And I knew that I would just derail the conversation. Like, I wanted to make sure the guests could talk about what they wanted to talk about, just to keep it on topic.
But see, it's like we wanted you to talk. We didn't mind too much if we got off topic, because that's just one of the things of Podtacular. And for those of you new who's listening to us, it's just a characteristic that we have, and we do a pretty good job on staying on topic. But with every other podcast out there, there's going to be other topics that pop up throughout conversation. So I don't know. I still think you're one of the best co-hosts out there. So
Well, I try to bring humor into unfunny situations. I try my hardest, and I usually fail. But when I do it, when I actually make somebody laugh,
no, you do
one
it.
of my unfunny jokes.
You don't give yourself enough credit.
That's what makes it all worth it. That's why I came back week after week to record the show with you, Dustin, because you were really the only co-host who could have put up with me for that long, and I appreciate you for that.
I don't know. A lot of people wish you were still around, and I definitely do. So, I miss the golden days of Brent.
Well, whenever you need me, I'm here.
All
so,
right.
If you ever need a guest host or substitute co-host or whatever,
all right,
you know where to find me.
I'll be
waiting.
I just wish you were back as a permanent co-host, but that's another conversation. But
all right, I'll talk about it.
All right,
I'll talk with you about it.
All right. So Fumo, hopefully you won't stay too much a stranger.
Read the chat.
Yeah, I see that. I see that. Thank you, Jack.
Fire Dragon says major bromance ensuing.
Yeah. I'll beat him up later on Xbox. So, but yeah, Fumo, again, thank you for creating Podtacular, for just pioneering the way for us to still be here today. And the shoes are still big, and I haven't even filled them halfway up yet.
Well, you do a great job, man. Thanks for taking over and really being passionate about the whole thing. And I couldn't pass on to a better person. It's just cool that you guys are into the whole fiction and all the little details about everything. It's fantastic. So keep up the good work.
Yeah. Well, you always have the open door here, since you crafted the door from your own sweat and tears. So.
Thanks, man. Thanks for inviting me. Good doing the show.
All right. So we have one code left to give away, and this is going to be for the mongoose, or the warthog, sorry. So I'm going to actually read this one out instead of putting it in the chat. So get your stuff ready. Get your links up for the redeeming code, because here we go. It's going to be 6 Delta X-Ray 6 Victor 9 X-Ray Charlie, X-Ray 6, Quebec 2 Charlie Charlie, Quebec Yankee Tango, what's P? P, I forget what P is. 6 Yankee Niner X-Ray X-Ray Zulu. So, whoever redeemed that, you have a Warthog avatar code. We have more codes to give away. We'll probably give them out on Twitter and on subsequent shows. So, make sure you guys watch out for those. Thanks again to everyone on the live stream that came out. I think we had about 14 or 15 unique people in the chat, which is pretty good. We have, according to the Ustream, we have a total of 97 unique views. So we had some people pop in, I guess, see what we were doing. So
I'm out. They just pop in like, oh, I'm out.
Yeah. So, but yeah, 3 years, we're going to have Halo 5 coming out, and it'll be our 10th anniversary. So it'll be another big set of shows, and hopefully we'll have a lot more people on for that one. But, yeah, this was great. And we went on for 3 hours. We went on an hour longer than I thought we would. So this was good.
Half as long as the normal show.
You mean twice as long?
No. I mean, not back when I was co-hosting. I don't know. We did record, I mean, not like record for 6 hours, but we were talking for like 6 and 7 hours at a time with guest hosts and...
Yes. But yeah, indeed. So, okay, so for everyone listening now to the podcast, not necessarily live stream, you can submit your stuff to the show. We take all kinds of submissions. We take funny stories that you have. We take custom maps that you've made or want to talk about. You can send those in to submissions@podtacular.com, or you can go to the website at podtacular.com and click on the green submit button, and you can fill out that form, and it'll shoot off an email to us. And once Halo 4 comes out, we'll probably get back into the regular rotation. We have this rotation for a lot of new people out there where we do a campaign show, a multiplayer show, a custom show, and then a Tales show. So I'm hoping that kind of format comes back up when we get Halo 4 out and people are actually out there generating content and everything. So expect that kind of format coming down the line when Halo 4 comes around. You can also call our listener voicemail at 206-339-6937 and leave a message, under 2 minutes preferably. You can also send us an MP3 file via email if you want to do it that way instead. The audio quality on MP3s is usually better than the voicemail, so take your preference. It doesn't matter to us. Make sure you attend Monday Night Matchmakings. Those are at 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific on Monday evenings. And we start off with matchmaking, play for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then whoever's left, we go in and play some customs. And if you're on Halo Unity, which is a new website that's bringing Halo communities together, you can get an award for attending. And, okay, Fumo's robo voice was there for a second. It's gone now, though, so you're good. Make sure you also register over on the forums, partake in some of the forum discussion. Daft has his political corner that he likes to go over, so if you are fervent about the topic as he is, you can go over there and join some of the discussion. We have some other topics going on there as well, about some other games, the information about Halo 4 that's been coming out, and just other little topics that's interesting to the Podtacular community at large. Until next time, guys, thank you very much for attending, making this very special occasion for us, our 300th episode in 7 years of Podtacular. We couldn't have done it without you guys. So to end in the classic Podtacular fashion, keep on fragging trucks.
Bye, everybody.
On frickin' frag.
Side
you.